Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, I'm Dan Marty.
And I'm JTG, aka Jay the God.
AKA the Human Shopping Channel come to life. A brand new Wrestling Insiders Weekend Review begins now. Wrestling fans looking for the perfect holiday gift? Discount VIP packages and tickets to Boston Wrestling Soul Survivor 10 Back to the 80s, Saturday night, April the 16th at Memorial Hall in Melrose, Massachusetts are on sale now. Join WWE Hall of Famer Jake the Snake Roberts, three-time WWE Tag Team Champions Axe and Smash Demolition, The Wild Berzerker, and more 1980s legends to be announced. Take part in a VIP exclusive Q&A session. Meet the wrestling icons up close and personal in an autograph and photo fan fest. Then get ready as the superstars and legends of yesterday, today, and tomorrow take part in a night of white-hot in-ring action. Discount VIP packages and tickets are on sale now for a limited time at bostonwrestling.com. Join us for a professional wrestling reunion decades in the making, April the 16th. Wrestling fans, we warned you this day would come. Unfortunately, we're running out of original episodes of Wrestling Insiders Party with Marty each and every Thursday night at 10 p.m., but we're starting up that Indiegogo. You can help the cause. You can help Marty's show continue each and every week. Nobody does it like Marty. We had an incredible time with him at our 20th anniversary bash, November 13th at Memorial Hall here in Melrose. We want to have the good times keep on rolling, but we can't do it without you. Look for the Indiegogo link in the comment section below or across our website and social media platforms. We have some great perks, great rewards where you can even meet Marty himself. There's nothing like it. Since July of 2020, every week we've brought you the show. We need your help to keep on going. We tell you, without wrestling fans, there is no professional wrestling, and there's no better time to help the cause now. Let's keep Marty rocking each and every Thursday night.
This is Mick Foley.
This is Harley Race.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
And this is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there live.
Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, Merry Christmas! Dan Marty here at MWF Studios in downtown Melrose, Massachusetts, the zip code of Champion 02176. Hoping you and your family, your friends are having a tremendous holiday. I had my version of Christmas on Wednesday in the Big Apple. Since Black Friday, I've been on the road now 9 days with more to come this week. As I'm in overdrive to try and close out 2021 big and open 2022 even bigger for the greatest wrestling fans I know. And that is you. That is you. So, cough, cough. Don't forget the Super Chat button is open for business tonight. Don't forget to hit that big thumbs up button, share the link across social media, and let's continue to grow and grow and grow all of the great things we have done in 2021. I'm going to let you in on a little scoop because it's Christmas, and it's not even in my notes, but I'm feeling very Christmassy as I sit here looking at the official Christmas tree, I guess, of MWF Studios. But in 2022, we're already discussing adding a new, or at least I should say, if not adding, testing out for several episodes, a brand new Wrestling Insiders series that would be based probably beginning on mid-80s WWF. I don't want to say who, with what, how many episodes we're going to tape at first. Of course, your help goes a long way. The Patreon, the eBay, just sharing links to try and get more folks and new eyeballs on these shows. I think it's really going to be an interesting one. But again, I don't want to say who, what, when, where, or why. But in early 2022, we're talking about doing something really cool. Again, a brand new series to add on to everything we're already doing. I'm very happy to report I spoke to Just Incredible yesterday afternoon. All is well on his end. He is going to be back to tape more episodes of Wrestling Insiders Extreme, which is going to be our Tuesday night program as it had been after WWE NXT at 10 p.m. So again, a lot of great things coming your way as we wind down 2021 and open with 2022. Don't forget that we will be VE Live, tomorrow night at 7 p.m. for our Sunday Night Live watch-along. As Charlie Wilson, John C. Manicus Riley, and myself will be having a WCW Starrcade 1998 watch-along, a very controversial night in the history of WCW. Some say the beginning of the end of the company, for reasons you may or may not know. That's why you should watch along with us and have a blast. I hope you can join us for what will be our final Sunday Night Live of 2021. Want to remind fans in the Northeast that you're not going to want to miss the action, the excitement, the memories, the legends. Saturday night, April the 16th, is Boston Wrestling Sports presents MWF Soul Survivor 10, back to the 80s at Memorial Hall right here in Melrose, Massachusetts, featuring live wrestling, an autograph photo fan fest, VIP exclusive Q&A session, and so much more. Already confirmed to join us will be WWE Hall of Famer and AEW superstar Jake the Snake Roberts, three-time WWE Tag Team Champions Axe and Smash Demolition. Where demolition goes, sometimes you might even see the mass superstar and Repo Man. The Wild Berzerker will also be with us, who was the protege of the late, great Bruiser Brody in the 80s. Along with becoming a member of the Boston wrestling family. Many more 80s legends are being added, along with the superstars and legends of yesterday, today, and tomorrow, gearing up to compete inside the squared circle. It is going to be a happening. Best of all, discount VIP packages and tickets are on sale now at the BostonWrestling.com super site. Save yourself some money while getting the best seats in the house, and if you order ASAP, if you like, we can include an autographed Christmas card for gift-giving purposes signed by WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas and Marty Jannetty. Folks, if that wasn't enough, we're also in the home stretch of the Marty Jannetty Wrestling Insiders Party with Marty Indiegogo campaign. We gave you over 70 episodes in Season 1. We need your help to get Marty back to the studio and bring you more great, engaging content in Season 2 with Marty's no-holds-barred sex, drugs, and rock and roll look at the 80s and 90s. We've got some great prizes and rewards. Check it out. Let's keep wrestling legends working. Again, we can't produce Season 2 of the program without your help. The reality is that simple. You can find the link to the Marty Jannetty Indiegogo campaign in the description box below or across our social media platforms. Fans, if you are looking for a late holiday gift for the wrestling fan on your list, or you're looking to spend a little bit of that holiday cash you got from grandma, you got from your uncle and aunts, fans, look no further than the Boston Wrestling eBay store. We're open 24/7. The link is in the description box below, or by simply going to bostonwrestling.com and clicking the store button. We have awesome merchandise with superstars of every era. A lot of the merchandise that you see on our set is available on the eBay store. Believe me, it helps us a long way in bringing great talent to the studio. Once you have a chance to unwind from the holidays, have the professional wrestling streaming time of your life while helping keep wrestling legends again working with early, full-screen, often ad-free access to Wrestling Insiders. Our world-renowned studio shoot interview DVD library is seen by millions online and millions more on The Howard Stern Show, Patreon exclusives, and more by joining the Boston Wrestling Patreon family at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. Now that the Berzerker is part of the family, dear Lord, expect the unexpected. Here on Christmas Day, earlier today, we posted an exclusive on Patreon, a Berzerker watch-along when he challenged Bret Hitman Hart for the World Wrestling Federation Heavyweight Championship in the fall of 1992. To kick off 2022, we're going to have another Patreon exclusive as Demolition Axe watches Demolition defeating Strikeforce to become the World Wrestling Federation Tag Team Champions for the very first time at Wrestlemania 4. Again, those are both Patreon exclusives. They will not be available on YouTube. This week, we open up Wrestling Insiders Week in Review with WWF Tag Team Championship Manager Oscar of Men on a Mission, joined by Boston Wrestling MWF President Dr. David Reese, a tremendous man that is now part of the All Elite Wrestling family. Check out another interesting interview with the Man on a Mission. Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, it is that time of week again. You have just submitted to a 3-hour WWE Monday Night Raw as we begin Christmas week. And that means it's time for the guiding light of the WWF Tag Team Champions, Men on a Mission in the World Wrestling Federation from 1994, managerial extraordinaire, Men on a Mission's own Oscar. Oscar, it is a pleasure to have you with us, but because it is a holiday week, you deserve a holiday treat. Joining us is a man on a mission of a different kind, here, there, and everywhere around the country, around the globe, the president of Boston Wrestling MWF, and a whole lot more, Dr. David Reese. So you get a little threesome Christmas week.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, it is a pleasure to be with two good friends on a holiday week.
That's what the holidays are about. Friends getting together.
Oscar, how far away from the phone are you? You sound like you're in New Zealand.
Okay, how about now?
A little better.
All right.
You're holding the phone helps.
My pleasure to be here.
All right.
Our pleasure to have you, because these days you are the hardest man in show business to get a hold of.
It seems that way.
Well, you know what? It's tough enjoying the golden sunshine of the 619 out in San Diego, California.
I know that's right.
It's freezing here. It's 54.
Well, it was about half that today when I got to the studio wrapped in a scarf, and Oscar is getting acclimated down in Hotlanta, trying to find the closest Golden Corral.
It was 70 degrees day before yesterday, and it's 58 today, so the weather is fickle, but we have some good days out here, so I can't complain.
All right. Well, Oscar, this is a treat, like I said, to be able to have a guest with us online. I think this is the first time we have done this. What have you two been conjuring up that I don't know about as I was slaving away with our Paul Bearer Holiday Headlocks toy drive?
All right, Dr. Reese, you got the floor. What's going on, man? You know better than me.
Okay. Well, things have been pretty busy, needless to say, because who isn't stressed these days? But I've been actively working a number of new projects. I mean, I've been connected with the Concussion Foundation and Chris Nowinski for about a dozen years, but I'm now officially their psychiatric consultant, mostly helping out on the hotline that they've set up, because they're mostly research oriented, but they now do have a clinical hotline because they've gotten so many calls with people with problems, and so we're working on that. And then through Nowinski, I'm now working with AEW as a psychiatric consultant to help them, and it's nice to have organizations that are aware of the need for mental health intervention and open to providing that when necessary.
Wow, I'm sorry, Oscar.
How much how through these efforts, I mean, how busy is it keeping you? How much are you flooded with calls now with AEW and concussion people with problems?
In terms of concussion, yeah, absolutely. We've just started in terms of AEW, so it's starting out slowly, but I'm involved, and it's going.
No, man, that is just fantastic. I mean, it's a combination of things that I think we've been talking about over the years, to have a structure set up to help athletes, in time of need. So my heartfelt congratulations to you for finally getting it. I knew you were the guy, for the project, and I am so glad that you're involved. Now, we're not going to ask you too much because I know that you're on, you got NDA protocols that are in place, but how rewarding is it right now?
Well, for me personally, as you just said, we've been struggling to set up some kind of structure for years. We've put a lot of work and effort, time, money, energy into it, and it's very rewarding to now have that bearing fruit. And yeah, of course, everything is confidential, but without going into any details, people are making use of my services and hopefully benefiting by it.
Okay, now, with everything going on, what is your wish list to see, set up? Like, what kind of programs to spin off from this situation would you like to see?
Well, I mean, we're still working on structure, and hopefully this can be duplicated for, other organizations and other groups. But not only to provide not just emergency care, which is not really what I'm doing for them, but basically just to have services available to refer people, to provide people to direct assistance, and so people have a place to go, and so that it's openly talked about, and that it's not a stigma to say, hey, I got some issues and I'm dealing with those issues. No one sees it as a stigma to go in because you have an aching knee. Well, if you got anxiety or some depression, it should be the same thing, and we're working to make it basically equivalent. That you have an aching knee, you go to this place. You have some anxiety or depression or some other concerns, you go to a different place, but it's just basically the same procedure.
Now, we've been talking about, for instance, a hotline forever. I mean, it's like the birth of a child that you've been culminating for years, and we have been discussing exactly what you're doing ad nauseum. How rewarding is it to you to finally see it coming to fruition?
It's both rewarding and frustrating. In terms of CLF, and you can go to their website, Confession Legacy Foundation. They do have a hotline available. The problem is getting people in to see, providers where they're located, which the whole mental health system is overloaded and pretty broken right now. But it is very rewarding that we're able to help most people. Right now, we're dealing with the complexities that during the pandemic, there were waivers. So like if a doc, say myself, as long as I'm working for a place physically from a place where I'm licensed, I was able to treat people anywhere in the country, and I didn't have to be licensed where they were, which was the old rule. That expired October 31st, and we all expected it to be extended at least through the year and maybe even made permanently, but it hasn't been. So right now we're in a sort of nowhere land in terms of knowing, whether we can or can't treat outside of a state that we're physically licensed, doing telepsych. So there's a lot of rearranging right now. So there are frustrations in setting it up, but at least we've got a mechanism going, and it's overloaded with calls. The problem is just getting it going, and it is extremely rewarding when you can get someone online, provide some intervention, get them hooked up with some help they need, and we've done that for a good number of people despite the frustrations.
Okay, yeah, I see how it is. You referred me to one individual. I'm not going to mention any names, but outside of that, I've got a couple of other people that have come to me personally, and I see how frustrating it can be, not doing the work, but structuring the work. But
right,
anything
just the mechanics of it. Yeah. And that's another thing, is it doesn't have to be for formal mental health treatment. We have to expand just in terms of peer support, mentoring, just whatever's useful. It doesn't always have to be specific therapy or medication, just whatever might be useful.
Okay. Now, AEW for a second. Like I said, we're not going to really get into it, but are you going to be in the house at AEW in the future, coming up to do some in-person work?
We're working on the specifics of that, at least by being able to meet people in person, and I was actually hoping that would occur, right after the new year, but now with the new variants and all that stuff, and I ain't a young chicken, so I'm being careful. So I'm not sure exactly when, but I expect that will, and I hope that will happen. in the
All
relatively
right.
near future.
All right, Dan, you got some questions for the good doctor, and we got to tiptoe around this because he's got a non-disclosure agreement, so we're being pretty general.
Well, it's not my first rodeo, believe it or not, Oscar. I am somewhat
Well,
familiar
all
with that.
Sorry, excuse me. I forgot who I was talking to.
Well, Doctor, what has me interested as far as what you're doing on the CFL end, or CLF, I'm sorry. Are you working with athletes in all genres as opposed to specifically professional wrestling like you are with the AEW work you've been doing?
Absolutely. Obviously, football, hockey, lacrosse, soccer, you name it. You name it. We've had people, and it's not just professionals. We've got basically from a high school level, even people who never continued their career past high school, but are having difficulties that they can relate back to that.
Mm-hmm.
So basically every contact sport, and I mean, I'm not personally dealing with kids, but people whose problems date back to high school sports.
Wow.
As well as I mean, have people wearing their Super Bowl rings.
Well, as Oscar noted, you guys have been trying to work on this hotline idea since I've known you back in 2014 when we first met. Did Nowinski and company basically take that idea and try and enhance it, or was it something they were working on their own and you just kind of collaborated on it to make something bigger and better?
Well, as I say, they were really focused, and still are focused on research. They're not a clinical organization, but they received so many calls, they decided to set up a hotline, and that's where I became involved. But it was basically their idea to do it. I don't take any credit for that. But they realized the need was there that no one else was really providing. So they went ahead and at their expense, they're a nonprofit organization and there's no charge. They set that up, and we're all doing that basically as a nonprofit pro bono effort.
Oh, really? That's great. And if there is someone that is in need that may come across this, they can get the information on the Concussion Legacy website?
Yes, and they can contact them, and then, they send referrals to me or whoever may be appropriate. Sometimes it's just a matter of hooking someone up with someone locally. Sometimes it's providing some intervention or even getting someone into a hospital at times. So it goes anywhere from basically informational to some pretty serious situations, but it's available.
Well, I found interesting, and maybe I heard this wrong when the conversation with the three of us began, but did you say that it was Nowinski's foundation that helped guide you to AEW?
Chris made the introduction for me, yes.
Wow. Now, see, I would have thought it would have been with another company, but interesting how things work out sometimes.
Yeah.
I see you. I'm sorry, but in. But I see where you're going with that. I know that they have a very strong relationship with other companies. So yeah, I thought it would swing that way, but obviously it didn't.
Well, I think
without going into any details, basically, Chris is involved with a lot of different organizations, and where there's a need that he can help out, he helps out. So there's really no politics involved in that. It's just that this was an opportunity and we took advantage of it, and hopefully it will work out for the best for everyone.
Well, I think AEW should be awfully proud of themselves for being what I would consider to be the forerunner in what you're doing and what everyone involved in the process is doing right now. It's long overdue. I think it's pretty sad that you had to see the death, suicide of Daphne, for people to really open their eyes, even more so than maybe the three of us that have, been in the grind, so to speak, and know it, especially the peers that we have that are outside of the national spotlight on a week-to-week basis, what they go through, and even those that are in the national spotlight week to week. It's two kind of different stresses that they face, the ones that are active, and then it's a different type of stress once you're out of it, when you go from, having your action figure in Walmart to go to working at Walmart.
Absolutely.
Any resource that's available, I think, is absolutely fantastic. I have so much admiration and respect for you, Dr. Reese. I hope you know from over the years what you've tried to do, and it's nice to see now. Again, we've only known each other since 2014, but now as 2021 comes to a close, it looks like so many positive things are happening all at the same time. It's almost like the perfect storm.
There've been a lot of different things that have contributed, some good, some tragic, obviously. But it's good to see people taking notice and people being aware and being open. And the people I'm working with now are just very open and really want the best for everyone involved.
It's just like, I think I noted to you when we were having a text conversation not too long ago. Imagine if these programs were available in the 90s or the 2000s, when we were having just the rash of deaths almost week after week at certain points. And, how many of the members of the Brotherhood, and I guess you could even call it the Sisterhood now, where there's so many ladies active full-time in the sport, that could still be with us right now. And that's just talking about pro wrestling. That's not even including, the issues that those and other, like you said, contact sports go through.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, if you go back and look at just, say, some of the pay-per-views that Oscar was involved with in WWF from 93 to 95, I bet you 25 years ago, athletes in their prime, maybe a good third, if not more, of those individuals, those healthy athletes in their prime, are no longer with us. And I think a lot of it, I think we'd be idiotic to say that the majority of them weren't preventable in some way.
Through all the ribbing that I went through and the stresses of the job, I asked about a program just like this back then, and it was non-existent, and it was so sad because I really could have used some therapy.
Well,
there's a lot of resistance out there to mental health issues. I'll tell you one quick story, and this has nothing to do with anyone I'm working with. I won't mention the organization or even the sport, but I was at the Sports Lawyers Association meeting. I'm not a lawyer, but I'm involved in that because of these issues. And a lawyer from one organization, one team, organization.
The doctor, did you pull away from the phone a little bit? You got kind of quiet.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Can you hear me now?
You go.
Perfect.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. The lawyer from one organization came up to me. We were just talking offhandedly, and he said, I think we could really use this. I'm going to go back to my owner. And a week later, he sent me an email and said, my owner said, we're not the team with the problems.
Oh.
So that's the attitude we were facing. I won't say what sport or anything, but it was a team, not an organization, to make that, wasn't wrestling. But that's the resistance we've been up against for years, as well as the legal issues of, people were afraid, even Cauliflower was afraid, well, if we open this up, do we have some liability? Which was a reasonable question. But, my view, the answer was the liability is in ignoring it, not in taking care of it the best way you can.
I don't want to take a dig at the Cauliflower Alley Club, but they did make an announcement at this year's reunion. I know you gentlemen were not there in person, but they noted that over the past 2 years, I believe they'd given out 6 figures in grants to those in need. I mean, what a better investment in the money from the membership dues and our reunions and different endeavors we have each year to try and help the coffers, so to speak, too. Even if they don't want to be responsible for a hotline or a program like that, how about helping fund it, Yeah,
and that was what going way back, and it was a reasonable question at the time. I'm not saying it was an unreasonable question at all, but that definitely changed because like the last time I was there, I haven't been able to be there the last few years, I did give a seminar on depression, so it was much more open. But that was the resistance that was just within the athletic community. Some for very valid reasons because there were legal issues involved. But we're getting past that slowly.
Well, I mean, just for the number of funerals and such that the cauliflower pays for every year, if some of those funerals could be prevented by helping fund hotlines or different programs or endeavors that talents of today and yesterday could utilize, I think it would be smart for CAC. I think it'd be a wise investment of the money. As a member of the CAC going back to 1995, I know, without knowing some of the, perhaps like you said, the responsibilities and legalities that may go through it, I don't know if them making a donation to a program like that would make them obligated legally to anything. And I would like to see the money go towards a program like that. But again, that's just one member's opinion.
Two things. First of all, the lawyer that you spoke to at the sports lawyers thing, his owner was just ignorant, because there's not a sport in any league that does not have a need for a program where athletes are suffering mentally. That's where suicides and everything else come in. And the second thing is this, and this is, and I'm gonna let Dr. Reese go in a second because I know he got things to do, but this is important. Would it be prudent, Dan and Dr. Reese, for us to revisit with Cauliflower Alley, structuring a letter proposing to them to revisit the possibility of opening up this program within their ranks?
I think it would be a great idea. I don't want to speak for anyone else other than myself, but Cauliflower is well aware they have our programs as a platform for anything they need to try and help the cauliflower agenda, and I think this should be part of the cauliflower agenda. Again, one member's opinion, but I've been around the dance for a long time. I've been around through several CAC presidents. I've been on to reunions, even back when they used to have them here on the East Coast. I think I'm pretty well versed in what they do. You know, we've made a lot of donations over the years to the CAC, and I'd like to think, you know, our voice would count for something, at least on this end. I don't want to speak for you guys.
Okay, now, Dr. Reese, hold on 1 second. I'll ask you. Okay, now you gotta think about, you know, contractually your obligations. That's the first thing, and then to your time management. With those two things in mind, could you be a part of something like that? Cauliflower Alley concern.
Those are issues. I mean, in terms of legalities, that can be worked out, because if you're just, you know, referring people, and there really isn't any liability in there, if it's structured right. The bigger concern, which is a very realistic concern, is once you open that up, the floodgates open, and you have to be prepared to handle what's coming through. So there's a lot of groundwork to do, no matter what organization. Because there's such a great need that once that's available, it can become very overwhelming very quickly. Personally speaking for myself, I don't know where I'd put more time right now, but there's surely other people available. But there does need to be the groundwork to make sure that you can provide the service to the basically sizable number of people you can expect to react, maybe not immediately, but within a few months.
So you think, Dr. Reese, in your opinion, that it could get bigger than anyone expects?
Well, I'm getting to address that.
Oh, okay.
Eventually, under the auspices of what it is we're trying to do, let's say we had a name, okay? And let's say we had a name. Eventually, help is going to be needed. I'm going to tell you why. If Dr. Reese is successful with AEW, he has experience. I'm going to take football for a reason, for an example. He has experience dealing with football. AEW is in junction with a football team,
right? Yeah.
So it stands to reason that if he's successful with the AEW individuals, expansion is inevitable. Wouldn't you say that, David?
I would hope so. You know, I'm not talking about any specific organizations or whatever, but I would certainly hope so.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just common sense, to be honest. Expansion is inevitable because I mean, once it's out of the bag, the AEW got this program. This program is successful. Other people are going to have to own up that they need it, and then boom goes the dynamite. So I'll be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, I just do want to add, just to make it clear, that I have direct permission from AEW to put on my social media that I am their consultant. So this isn't a secret in any way. I don't want to get into any specifics, but the fact that this is ongoing, I have direct permission from them to, it's on my social media right now, and it's not a secret.
Well, I have to say I'm very proud of you. I know how much you have to offer the sport, and there's so many athletes that I think are going to benefit from it. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but even years from now, that AEW has opened the door in-house, which I think brings a comfort level to it. I know WWE, since the Daphne incident, has made, different practices available to individuals, but nothing in-house. And I think the fact that AEW is doing it the way they're doing it, I think it is a much more beneficial way to do it than how WWE is doing it. That's one man's opinion. I am not speaking for anyone else on this call, but I can only call it as I see it. Again, if I had a hat on, I would tip it to Tony Khan and everyone at AEW for what they're trying to do. And I hope every major league organization that has their independent contractors under some kind of a contract will follow in their lead, whether it's David Reese or a doctor from somewhere else in the world, because it's needed as much as they need doctors to examine necks and backs and any other problem. The brain needs as much love as any other body part.
There you go. That's right.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you for having me on, and to a good holidays and a Merry Christmas and a better 2022.
Well, you know what? I
All
think 2021 perked up just a little bit over what was a very depressing 2020. Hopefully things will continue to move in the right direction. We've had so many exciting things happening on our end in the wrestling world, but this is some really important real-life stuff that you're involved with right now, Doctor. And again, all the respect in the world to you for going out of your way. I know how hard you've worked behind the scenes to try and make it happen. For my partner in crime, the man on a mission, the guiding light of the WWF Tag Team Champion Men on a Mission, I'm the guy that introduces the show, Dan Marty. Until we speak again, folks, we'll see you live tomorrow night. We'll be back with Oscar next Monday night after WWE Raw. Until we speak again, can we use the C word, Oscar?
Yep.
We hope you and yours continue to have a very Merry Christmas season. Good night from Boston. Wrestling fans looking for the perfect holiday gift? Discount VIP packages and tickets to Boston Wrestling Soul Survivor 10 Back to the 80s, Saturday night, April the 16th at Memorial Hall in Melrose, Massachusetts are on sale now. Join WWE Hall of Famer Jake the Snake Roberts, three-time WWE Tag Team Champions Axe and Smash Demolition, The Wild Berzerker, and more 1980s legends to be announced. Take part in a VIP exclusive Q&A session. Meet the wrestling icons up close and personal in an autograph and photo fan fest. Then get ready as the superstars and legends of yesterday, today, and tomorrow take part in a night of white-hot in-ring action. Discount VIP packages and tickets are on sale now for a limited time at bostonwrestling.com. Join us for a professional wrestling reunion decades in the making, April the 16th. Wrestling fans, welcome back. Oscar may not have been nominated for a Grammy, as we had been discussing in recent weeks, but this coming week after WWE Raw, get the inside, behind-the-scenes scoop on how it came to be with the folks he's been working with in the music industry. And another very interesting episode as we wrap up 2021. Speaking of content, we're ready for Season 2 of Wrestling Insider's Party with Marty. We'd love to have Marty Jannetty back ASAP to share his no-holds-barred sex, drugs, and rock and roll look at the 80s and 90s. But, folks, we need your help to make Season 2 happen. Our interactive prize-filled Indiegogo campaign is ongoing now. Look for the link in the description box below or, as mentioned, across our social media platforms. As noted, Justin Credible had some life issues going on. He was away from us for a little bit, so we've been having some Tuesday marathons. Justin's going to be back with us in early 2022. So we look now to a brand new Wrestling Insider special edition where we're joined by our longtime friend Demolition Axe, Bill Eadie, shooting on the World Wrestling Federation in 1987, including Rick Martel and Tom Zink, the Can-Am Connection, Sherry Martel, the Fabulous Moolah, the return of superstar Billy Graham, Ted Dibiase coming to WWF as the $1 Million Man, Billy Jack Haynes, and tons more. Enjoy what is for now our final episode with Axe. Check it out. Wrestling fans, welcome to another installment of Wrestling Insiders. Dan Marati, Demolition Axe, Bill Eadie, the masked superstar. Were you Beppo Mongol?
Bolo.
Bolo? That almost sounds like a foreign language.
Yep.
You really have seen, you and, funny enough, you and Barry have both had a lot of gimmicks in your
Multiple
career, even though
gimmicks,
you're
yeah.
probably both, well, I don't know. Do you think you're best known as Axe or masked superstar?
I would say 50-50 on
50-50?
those two.
Yeah. Yours is pretty close. With Barry, you know, I know Repo Man had quite the run, but I
Yeah.
think most people would say Smash.
Yeah.
We've been having a lot of fun in these interviews, fans. Again, we ask you to comment in that premiere box that we have going. I'm sure my good friend Slick Rick B, Maria Davis from Bill's, not Barry's, hometown of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, is helping the cause, along with Tina, Tania, whatever your mystery name may be, my good friend. I hope you guys are all doing well tonight. If you're not joining us during the premiere, as always, leave some thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoy the content today, baby, that super chat button, that little gray dollar sign, it's always open. Don't forget to tip the bartender if that wasn't enough. Help us get the word out to these wrestling fans that don't know we exist yet. There's millions upon millions of fans that gave up on wrestling in the 80s and the 90s that don't know us yet. Give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's free. When YouTube sees that you guys are engaging with us, they are more apt to share our programs with fans that haven't watched it yet. It's very simple. Also, you can share the link across social media, Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, Facebook wrestling groups, wrestling websites. Let them know about these great shows. I cannot tell you, if you look at the thumbs down to thumbs up ratio, look at the positive feedback that we're getting on everything that we do. The more we can grow, the more we can help keep Wrestling Legends working. 2 more quick, cheap plugs. I'll keep them quick. The eBay store is open 24/7. The link is in the description box below. Every piece of merchandise you buy helps us bring you more great legends, and you get an on-air shout-out from one of our featured superstars and legends thanking you for helping the cause. And one more time, if you don't just want to be a fan, if you just don't want to be a friend of the show, head on over to patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. I think I've said it so many times, Bill can recite it. You get early ad-free access to our Wrestling Insider talk shows. You get access to our acclaimed studio shoot interview library, hundreds of them. They've been seen by millions of fans online, millions more on the Howard Stern Show, thanks to the Sheik. There's some Patreon exclusives. Bill and I did a great Patreon exclusive where we look back at Wrestlemania 4, which was a lot of fun. The night Demolition won the tag team titles. And the most important thing that I continue to push upon you guys, because I know from my own point of view, in my almost 28 years of being involved in this crazy world of wrestling, when you're involved with Patreon, you are helping keep Wrestling Legends working. That is my passion. That is my passion. I love to see, when we have our live events, independent, the young guys grow and become better professionals. That means a lot to me. But I want to see the Wrestling Legends working out of the ring in an easy platform like this. We have this beautiful TV studio at our disposal. I would love to see us producing several episodes a night. I don't know how I could physically do it as far as producing it,
Right.
but I'd love to be able to attempt to have a few episodes each night for fans to enjoy, with the great legends being able to tell their stories, Bill.
Yeah, it'd be a task, but
I may be
without the fans out there, this is nothing. You can help us. You can spread the word. So please help us.
Patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. For the price of a cup of coffee, you will have the time of your life, much like I was as a kid in 1987 in the second grade, is I was loving everything that was going on in the World Wrestling Federation. We're about, in the chronological order, if we've been discussing things, we're right around spring turning into summer. It's been about 6 months of Demolition. What's your thought process around that point, about half a year through? Are you happy? Is Demolition? Do you like the spot you're in? Do you like the money? Do you like the schedule? What's your thought process?
Yes to all of the above except the schedule. But that's part of the all of the above.
Sure.
Yeah, we were in a good spot, especially after winning the championship and making good money. And of course, we expected to be on the road, so that was real. So, yeah, it was a good time to be us.
Was it, you had been through the WWF previously as the Super Machine and Mass Superstar. Was it harder for Barry to get used to all the flights and that type of a schedule compared to you that had already done it a little bit?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think you ever get used to all that stuff. Even as much as I've flown, even including now, it's just a routine you got to go through. The biggest thing, the most difficult thing is going through security. We had to carry the belts. So.
And think of how much easier security was even back then. Imagine now. Oh.
But they always wanted to take the belt out and walk
take a
around
picture, yeah, or something like that. Look at
so
it. Yeah.
You had to calculate an extra half hour going through there. So.
Well, you know what? I tell you, so even at that point, you know, Demolition you'd probably look at as a mid-card tag team. It was good money?
Yeah.
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 Well, 87 was one of the better years the company ever had, so that's not surprising. Team that kind of came and went, 86 into 87. I know you worked them at least in Boston because I was disgusted. I was disgusted that Demolition did the job for them. The Can-Am connection, Rick Martel and Tom Zink. Before Tom Zink left, you guys worked a little with them. Your memories of the pre-Strikeforce Rick Martel and Tom Zink, who had a very short run?
Not too much. Rick, of course, I had matches with Rick in Montreal when I was up there as Mass Superstar. And like we were talking earlier on one of the videos, lots of fire, lots of excitement to his comebacks. And Zink, compared to the two, Zink was there. That's all I can say. Mm-hmm. Nothing negative, but
he just wasn't Rick Martel.
He wasn't Rick Martel. He wasn't Tito Santana, which later became the Strikeforce. So.
Well, it seemed like they were being groomed for a great spot. I know I made a joke about, you know, why Tom apparently left the company in one of the previous episodes, but you know, a shame for him. He lost out on probably having a very good run, making some very good money, just to kind of vanish off into no man's land.
Yeah.
Go back to the AWA, which was dying at that point.
Yeah, and I never heard the actual reason for it, so we were involved in the matches, and if whatever decision he made, that's his decision.
They said it was Rick Martel that had kept up out of the bed like they'd never seen before, but that's a different story for a different time. Back to 1987, though. In the summer, we had the return of a very broken down superstar, Billy Graham, trying to wrestle. It was tough to watch. Well, I know he needed the money, but I mean, his body was just dilapidated.
Yeah, he's a different character.
Yes, that's what
his relationship with WWE, WWF is on again, off again, on again, off again. There again, choices, right?
Talk about some of the bad. I could, if we had the time, I'd tell you about our Billy Graham experience that we had here, which was, it's a heck of a story. But, you know, there is a part of him that is very nice, very charming, very kind, very interesting. And then there's the part of him that is, you talk about the underbelly and the sleaze of professional wrestling. It's like he's the personification of it.
Yeah,
It's strange. There's like two sides to him.
I never had many dealings or situations being around him. So, but I've heard that too.
Did you ever work him?
No.
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 But in '87, when they brought him back for that feud with Butch Reed, oh my God. I mean, he could barely walk.
Yeah.
But I'll say this, to his credit, to show what kind of a superstar he was, no pun intended. I mean, he sold out Madison Square Garden with Butch Reed in '87.
Did he?
And he could barely walk. So, I mean, there still were people that still loved superstar Billy Graham in 1987. You know, like you said, a very odd relationship throughout the entire history, even going back to probably the early 80s when Gorilla Monsoon used to pen a column for a Pennsylvania, I believe, newspaper, and he said that Billy Graham died. And there were people that thought that Billy Graham was dead, and when he came back and he did that karate gimmick and looked nothing like the '78 Billy Graham that was the world champion, there were people that really thought it was an imposter that was portraying the karate Billy Graham.
I didn't know that.
Well, the karate Billy Graham didn't get over so well.
No, it did not.
But
I remember Superstar Billy Graham.
Right.
And I remember the karate Billy Graham. I like the Superstar much better.
Well, I tell you, he made a great argument that the WWF World Championship should have stayed on him longer than it did before it transitioned to Bob Backlund. But as we know, Vince McMahon Sr. plotted things out far in advance. He knew when Billy was going to get it. He knew when Billy was going to lose it.
Oh, yeah.
And Bob Backlund had that just about a 6-year run as the guy on top. But Billy Graham, great charisma.
Yeah.
He was almost like Demolition, the type of heel that the fans wanted to rally behind and get behind.
If I remember correctly, he did good interviews too.
Oh, yeah, he was a hell of an interview.
Yeah.
Hell of an interview. Just an odd human being.
Yeah.
There were things you could really like about him, and then there were things, my God, you'd never want anything to do with the guy again. Look, I mean, Pat Patterson never forgave him before he passed away about some of the fictitious stories he created in the media during that 1992 circus of scandals that they had. I'll tell you this, he's got a very interesting book for the fans out there. If you like professional wrestling books, if you can find Billy's autobiography, it's really good, very detailed. He gets into finances, which I always find to be fascinating. How little money he was making when he was with the Crockett's before he came back to the WWF for that run where he had the hip surgery. And, they tried a lot with Billy Graham. It's just nothing seemed to work with him.
Right.
Was he a pleasant guy to be around in '87?
Well, you know what? I don't really remember because we weren't around him that much.
Mm-hmm.
There was always little factions or groups that, through their friendships, would associate more. But we never had any harsh words, or we never had any negative comments directed towards us from him. So.
Yeah, I guess you could either look at him as a charismatic friend or maybe a snake in the grass, depending upon the day of the week, I guess. Because I could say a lot of nice things about him, too, from our engagements with him, but he really caused some headaches for us back in 2009. But that's wrestling, I guess, as they say, right? There's a lot of unique personalities and people that we've met over the years. July 1987, very interesting time, and we talked about women's wrestling in some of these episodes. Sherry Martel finally ends the Fabulous Moolah's forever streak as women's champion. Any memories of a younger Sherry Martel when she was a full-time wrestler?
She was one of the best female athletes in the business. Guys would actually watch her match because her matches were like ours. I often commented that, I know she's a lady, but she works like a guy. I mean, she was good. She did good interviews. And she was always pleasant around us. I never saw her making any negative statements towards anybody. She was a professional.
Yeah, hellacious, I was even told. You know, at night, after the event's kind of a wild child, but in the ring, I mean, like you said, she went in there and worked like one of the boys.
Oh, my
And
goodness.
that's a compliment.
Yeah, it is a compliment.
Yeah.
Because there's women's wrestling, and then there's wrestling that Sherry did.
Yeah.
She just happened to be a woman, but she was wrestling as just as good as any of the guys.
Her passing really got to me. It really bothered me because I think you and I had talked about it, or it was someone that we had in recently, that, you know, all she needed to try and live a better life was a rod in her back.
Yeah,
and there was no one in WWF, WWE, you know, they don't pay for things like that. They don't handle medical issues. They'll help you with drug and alcohol rehab, but they won't help you with those kind of physical issues. And you know, my gosh, again, I'm going to say it, even if we did say it on a prior episode, for WWE, they'll spend 6 figures to send these talents to top-notch, first-class rehab facilities. But what could be done in a lot of cases in a much cheaper level is help out the talent with these physical issues where they may shy away from the drugs and the alcohol. That's what bothers me. I mean, I don't know how much the rod in Sherry's back would have cost, but, you know, she could be alive right now if she had it.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's what sticks out to me and really bothers me.
And by helping with the medical pain, the injury pain that you have, then maybe that doesn't progress to the need to go to rehab.
Right.
So.
And again, and as we've noted, look at how many of the guys and girls they've sent to rehab multiple times.
Yeah.
Almost like it was a vacation. You know? I could only hope for a better future for the industry as far as that goes, where it's a more humane treatment for the people that actually make the action and excitement in the ring happen.
Right.
You know, but again, different story for different time. We mentioned the fabulous Moolah, a woman who in recent years has been brutalized by some of the women that she trained. Stories about her pimping out some of the women that she trained. Stories of lesbian sex. Your memories of the fabulous Moolah. She was the kingpin of women's wrestling.
Well, there again, I mean, I had been in a couple territories, in particular Georgia and Mid-Atlantic, primarily, that she was involved with, in and out. But, you know, I didn't associate with any of the females at that time, let alone Moolah, you know, I mean, she was supposed to be the queen, I guess. The only comment that I would make was I didn't see why she was still the champion at her age. It wasn't doing any credit to the women's wrestling.
No.
Actually was holding it back.
I think so.
So if I would have had any input, that would have been one of the things that I would have demanded.
Really?
A change, you know. Get Sherry or one of the younger girls.
Well, they tried it with Wendy Richter, and that was the first version of the Montreal Screwjob, I guess, at MSG, when they had Moolah go out as Spider Lady under a mask and hook her.
Exactly.
For the pin, well, not hook her, but you know what I mean, get the fast pin to get the title off of Richter because she didn't want to sign the contract.
And what hold could Moolah possibly have on the promoter? Or that would be
Right,
Vince.
yeah,
That'd be Vince Sr. I mean, what photos did she have?
She had a lot of stroke. She was a major power player in this business, and I don't think people realize just how strong.
And you know, it was probably, well, if you don't do this, you'll never use any of my girls. And she probably had all the girls. But in 2 or 3 years, any strong promoter could have developed her own stable.
Sure.
So, I don't know.
Did you ever hear any of those stories about her trying to pimp the women out?
Not till recently, no.
No, recently. And what about even the more, what I would guess would be more common, her trying to to hustle a big percentage of the girls' money and things like that. Did those stories make the
Well,
rounds
she's
back
not.
in the day?
She's not the only person that has done that in the
Really?
past. There's a lot of promoters that break guys in. They get a percent of the pay. So she was probably doing what another 5 or 6 promoters were doing. So.
Well, some of the girls had said it was big money. And then at one point she even got caught, I guess there was transportation money that was involved that each girl was supposed to receive, and she was even pocketing that too, so.
Well.
That's why she had the house on Moolah Drive in South Carolina,
Yeah.
wherever it may be. And I remember, I don't know if you're familiar with Sinister Minister James Mitchell. I think, yeah, you are, because we mentioned him in previous interviews. But when he was interested in going to become a wrestler, he actually went to the house. And he said it was unlike anything he'd ever seen. He said there were midgets working on cars, and there were little cabins like the movie Dirty Dancing that
Yeah,
all
I
the
heard
girls would live in. And
And she charged them rent, right?
yeah. So
That was like,
she really lived the gimmick when it came to the name Moolah.
yeah.
But nice to you?
We didn't have much interaction. You know,
Yeah.
there again, they had their own separate dressing area. You might see her in the hallway, or they weren't in the locker room,
Yeah.
or, you know, hello, how are you? Nice to see you, blah, blah, blah. That's it.
Was it difficult for the ladies to find a place to change? Because
No, they always had a,
they always had a.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Even in the small independent groups, they always set aside a female dressing room. I can't imagine with Vince or Vern or anybody else or the Mid-Atlantic that they didn't have their own area.
Well, interesting character. WWF really tried to, almost like we mentioned with Pat Patterson, they tried to pay homage to her by creating the fabulous Moolah Women's Battle Royal at WrestleMania as an annual tradition. And the backlash from the fans was so brutal, they scrapped it. They took her name off of it before the WrestleMania even took place. So that was an instance where they listened to the fans for sure. And,
Yeah.
and there are people, you know, some have really gone out of their way to bury Moolah, and there are some that really stick up for us. So it's interesting. Again, we always talk about the different points of views from different people. Some think she was just a great, classy lady and one of the true icons of the business. Others think she's low-life scum. So it's kind of an interesting
I think
dynamic.
there again, I think it's who you're talking to and how they were treated.
Yeah.
I mean, I have no experience dealing with her, so I can't say.
Yeah, you didn't really have to deal with the women.
No.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Summer '87, we talked about Sherry Martel, the new women's champion. Big jump in the world of professional wrestling, coming from Bill Watts Mid-South, which was really starting to decline, unfortunately. That was a great territory.
It was.
Coming into the World Wrestling Federation was the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. Your memories of I'm sure you came across Ted even well before that through the territories.
Oh, yeah, Georgia, Mid-South, Japan.
Oh, even Japan too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ted was always a good worker. He was always, you know, I know his father was a wrestler, and maybe one of his uncles or something.
His adopted father and his mother were both wrestlers.
Okay, yeah. And
I'm not sure what his biological last name might be.
right. But
I and Mike DiBiase adopted him.
yeah. Yeah, nothing but positive. Ted was always a hard worker. Murdoch and I worked with him a number of times when we were in Mid-South.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I had a couple matches with him when he came into Georgia. And at one time, and I don't know why it changed, there was scuttlebutt talk about him being the NWA champion.
I was just going to mention that. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know what transpired that they didn't give it to him, but
Well, it's a very select group of people that would even be in the conversation to have that championship given to them.
yeah.
And I think that says a lot about Ted. Even you go to WrestleMania 4, which we did a little watch along on. There was a lot of talk that he was going to be the guy to walk out of Atlantic City with the championship. He seemed like he was the guy that just, the promoter was oh so close to pulling the trigger to putting it on him, and it just didn't wind up happening for whatever reason. He still had an outstanding career, one of the great gimmicks of the 80s and 90s, to say the least.
Yeah.
I mean, what an interesting selling point to get the call from Connecticut to say, come up, we want to talk with you. We've come up with this fantastic gimmick. We can't tell you what it is, but the best way to describe it is, if Vince was going to become a wrestler, this is the gimmick he would give himself. If you were Ted DiBiase, would you have been sold on that?
Well,
or would
of
you
course,
have wanted more
of course.
information?
I remember years ago, in my own personal experience, when I was one of the Mongols, and George Scott, who was the promoter, and well, not the promoter, the booker in the Carolinas, called me into the office. He said, I've got this idea I want to run by you. And I was young, green, inexperienced, and he proposed the Masked Superstar. First thing that registered in my head was ding, ding, ding. If the promoter and the booker like it, it's going to work. I'm going to make money. And of course I'm going to do it. Why wouldn't he?
If it's their idea,
Yes.
they're obviously
They're
going
not
to
going to
push
say
it.
that they were wrong.
Right.
Or they may say it, but it's going to take a lot longer to make that decision than it, well, you came up with this, it's not no good. I came up with it, it's good.
Did you ever, maybe even yourself, I've been told by different individuals in the studio, there was some resentment towards Ted with the treatment that he received with that gimmick. They wanted him to live it. He flew first class. He had the limousines waiting for him. They always had wads of cash for him to spend. They wanted him to portray $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase everywhere he went, which, as he has been very open in his book and his documentary, led to a life of alcohol and women and substance abuse and cheating on his wife. And I think, and I admired Ted for being so honest about it. Did some of the guys resent the excess that Ted was given compared to you guys being squashed and coach?
You know what, I was never aware of that.
Mm-hmm.
That was the character. What are they going to fly Hogan in coach or basic economy? If they're pushing that character, I'll be very honest. When it took place, the only thing that I thought, and not anything against Ted, because Ted's a good friend of mine, the guy that should have been the $1 Million Man was Ric Flair.
Would have been a great gimmick for him.
Because he does spend and lives like a millionaire. For him to get that push, that's the only negative that I can say about that. I thought, if you're going to make a $1 Million Man, you already got one. Just give him the carry, give him the title.
Great gimmick, wrong guy?
I don't say it's the wrong guy.
Or maybe it could have been a better guy.
Yeah.
It would have been an interesting way to, because the way they brought Flair in once they had that chance with him, when he was the NWA World Champion at the time without losing the title. Oh my God. You talk about the ball being dropped, but that's a different story for down the road. But yeah,
But
I mean,
can't you see that though?
Oh yeah.
I mean, every wrestling fan.
He already was the $1 Million
He was
Man. He
the
just didn't have the name.
He was, if Flair had $1 million, he'd spend $3 million.
Yeah. And he would have loved the fact that WWF was the one paying for it instead of out of getting, think of all the financial trouble the poor guy has gotten himself into.
Yeah, but as far as Ted, I mean, he did a good part. He lived the character. But the only thing that I didn't care for was the in-ring costumes. They didn't look like $1 million.
Those tuxedo things?
Yeah, with the dollar signs. And he could have come out in a tuxedo. He could have come out in a new suit, a different suit every time, but he didn't. So the concept was good. That's not Ted's fault. That's the people pushing its fault. Mm-hmm. They didn't go far enough.
I thought the vignettes where they introduced him, and I don't know if you've ever even seen them, where you say you've seen such limited TV where you were on the road so much.
Right.
But did you ever see how the vignettes, how they introduced him when he'd go to a swimming pool and he'd buy it and he threw all the kids out in the middle of the summer? And oh my God, you talk about the creative vignettes they came up with for Ted to introduce that $1 Million Man character. It's no reason, I'm losing my train of thought. That's the reason why it got over so strong. Yeah. Those vignettes are not just for Ted, but for everybody. When they actually used to invest the time to take 4 to 6 weeks to come up with those 2 to 3 minute vignettes, before the guy was even on TV for a match, the fans were familiar with him and he was already over.
Oh yeah, I understand.
Like $1 million bucks.
And my comments are not anti.
No, I understand. Anti-Ted.
Ted.
It's just how you would have if you were booking it, how you would have portrayed it.
I would have booked it differently. I would have booked, of course, I would have booked Ted, but I would have booked Ted as something else. As the $1 Million Man, I would have, I thought that originally. That was my concept, and it never changed. Flair was the guy. Flair, people that know Flair, he's the $1 Million Man. He might not have the million, but he lives it, he loves it, he is it. So.
Interesting thought. Do you think Ted would have made a credible WWF World Champion?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good worker, dedicated, could handle probably any situation.
If you had the pencil at WrestleMania 4, would you have put the title on him or Savage?
Oh goodness, I don't know. You have to know the behind-scenes plans and what's coming up 6 months ahead of time or 6 weeks ahead of time.
Well, we'll get there once we get to 1988, but there's a lot of people that blame the Honky Tonk Man for it, with his issues that he had refusing to drop the Intercontinental title to Randy at that big main event NBC show the month before. But we'll talk 1988 soon enough, fans. We're still talking 87. We'll be back with more Wrestling Insiders after this brief timeout. Wrestling fans, we warned you this day would come. Unfortunately, we're running out of original episodes of Wrestling Insiders Party with Marty each and every Thursday night at 10 p.m., but we're starting up that Indiegogo. You can help the cause. You can help Marty's show continue each and every week. Nobody does it like Marty. We had an incredible time with him at our 20th anniversary bash, November 13th at Memorial Hall here in Melrose. We want to have the good times keep on rolling, but we can't do it without you. Look for the Indiegogo link in the comment section below or across our website and social media platforms. We have some great perks, great rewards where you can even meet Marty himself. There's nothing like it. Since July of 2020, every week we've brought you the show. We need your help to keep on going. We tell you, without wrestling fans, there is no professional wrestling, and there's no better time to help the cause now. Let's keep Marty rocking each and every Thursday night. Wrestling fans looking for the perfect holiday gift? Discount VIP packages and tickets to Boston Wrestling's Soul Survivor 10 Back to the 80s, Saturday night, April the 16th at Memorial Hall in Melrose, Massachusetts are on sale now. Join WWE Hall of Famer Jake the Snake Roberts, three-time WWE Tag Team Champions Axe and Smash Demolition, The Wild Berzerker, and more 1980s legends to be announced. Take part in a VIP exclusive Q&A session. Meet the wrestling icons up close and personal in an autograph and photo fan fest. Then get ready as the superstars and legends of yesterday, today, and tomorrow take part in a night of white-hot in-ring action. Discount VIP packages and tickets are on sale now for a limited time at bostonwrestling.com. Join us for a professional wrestling reunion decades in the making, April the 16th.
It hits different live with WWE Super Show. Don't miss an epic main event.
Drew McIntyre and Kofi Kingston, King Woods, The New Day, Roman Reigns, and the Usos in a six-man tag team match.
Will the new arrivals on the Blue Brand disrupt the dominance of the Bloodline? It's WWE Super Show in Boston, Sunday, January 9th. Tickets and Superstar Experience packages on sale now.
Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, I'm Dan Marty.
And I'm Mr. USA WWE Hall of Famer Tony Atlas.
The road to WrestleMania has begun. Wrestling fans are looking to add to their man caves. You got to see what we have in the eBay store.
Check it out.
Support Wrestling Insider's in-studio shoot interviews on eBay with this brand new personally autographed WWE Royal Rumble 2021 11x14 poster signed by WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns, his advocate Paul Heyman, and Kevin Owens. Reigns and Owens battled for the Universal title in a last standing match January 31st in the Thunderdome in Tampa. This limited edition collector's poster is number 31 of only 50 produced. Comes with WWE authentication hologram on the poster itself. Also comes with an on-air shout-out from WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas and a bonus autographed 8x10 photo. Get this rare, awesome collectible for your man cave and help keep wrestling legends working now. All right, wrestling fans, welcome back as we continue to plow through the year that was 1987. Very happy and proud to be, hide those, kayfabe those glasses, baby.
Well, I need
They
them
want
to
to see those
I need
beautiful
them to
eyes.
see.
They want to see those handsome eyes that Sue gazes at every night at home down in Georgia.
And tries to hit.
Tries to hit?
Yeah.
What do you mean hit?
Well, I always screw up, so
Gives you a little... All right.
The kids always used to say that I teach with, Mr. Edie, what's wrong with your hands? I say, guys, I've done a lot of things bad. And every time I do something bad, my wife breaks one of my fingers. So they think she's really mean.
You want to hear a great story on a rib that I did this? It's kind of funny because of the reaction of another person. You met the youngest one, but the older of the two. The first time, before he was even born, I took my ex and him to, a Disney World vacation, and we went to SeaWorld. And his father was an abusive person. And it was tough on him, especially in his youth. But he was being too much with the mother. So I said to him, I said, if you put your hands anywhere near your mother again, I'm going to break your finger. And he acted a little scared for a minute, but about a half an hour later, he did the same thing. I said, all right, I'm going to break your finger. So whatever attraction it was, we left, and we went and sat down on some bench or whatever it was. So I said, you're going to learn your lesson. I'm going to break your finger. And then I'll never remember the reaction of this old woman that was sitting on the bench.
I'll bet.
Not knowing what I was going to do. So I said, give me your hand right now. I grabbed him by his hand. He's terrified at this point. And I said, I told you to behave yourself. And I went, and you should have heard him cry and scream. And that's exactly what I did. I made the sound with my tongue and just pulled my hand up over his finger. It didn't cause him an ounce of pain. Then after about 30 seconds of crying, he realized, he's like, wait a minute.
I'm crying for nothing.
He didn't do anything. But if you saw the look on, the old woman got up and left because she thought there was this horrible child abuse going on. Yeah. I'm surprised she didn't go and get security, especially if it was ever now. In 2021, forget it.
Oh,
but
yes, yeah.
he learned his lesson that day. I got him good on that one. I thought that was kind of funny. But anyway, for the fans at home that think I'm now a serial working child abuser, I apologize. 1987, as summer started to turn to fall, we had Ted DiBiase becoming $1 million man. We had almost like what we see happening nowadays with tag teams on the babyface side. Sometimes you take a couple of guys that you have nothing going on with, see if there's any chemistry together. You and Bill worked a lot with Billy Jack Haynes and Ken Patera, kind of a unique team.
Yeah. I don't know what they were planning on doing with them. I know that both of them were originally brought in to be singles.
Right.
Whether they didn't have any slots for them or not. Yeah, and I don't know how long they lasted as a team.
Not long, because Billy Jack was gone by the beginning of '88.
Right. He didn't like the massive traveling.
Billy Jack?
He hated it. Mm-hmm. It's a funny story. When he first came in, I remember him, I knew Billy Jack occasionally from bumping into him in different territories. And he was sitting there at the table for the lunch table, and personnel from the office would come around and they'd give you a stack of tickets, and somebody else would give you a stack of papers for this or that. And I remember him looking at it and said, "What's that?" And somebody said, "That's your tickets for the month." He said, "Are you kidding me?" And it was about that thick. So that meant that you have to go now and schedule to rent a car, schedule your hotel rooms. Nobody's going to do it for you. So Fuji would do some, I would do some, and Barry would do some. So
you
we
divvied
split
it up.
Yeah.
Were you guys around when Linda McMahon created the travel company where you'd essentially pay them to do it?
No.
I thought that was a good work.
Yeah, but why
Isn't
would
that
we?
something?
Why would we need to do that anyway?
Well, just to make life a little easier.
No. I'm saying, why would we have to pay?
That was the gimmick.
Yeah.
That was the gimmick.
We're working for them, aren't we?
Well, it was technically a different company.
Yeah.
So Linda started her own company where they would be kind enough.
Feeding off the guys that's working for a husband's company.
Exactly. And they'd set up all your hotels, they'd set up all your rent-a-cars and make life nice and easy for you.
Yeah. So instead of paying $90 a night for the room, you're paying $99, but they're actually getting it for $70.
Yep.
And then a rent-a-car is jacked up at 20%. So no, we weren't there then. And
you didn't enjoy the.
My question would have been, why in the hell do we have to do this? You're making the schedule. Why don't you make the schedule and give us the stuff?
Do you think it would have ever been easier? And I know because I worked with Ed Cohen, and he told me what just early on in the company for the first 6-7 years or so, it was a nightmare trying to coordinate just the schedule where they had so many towns and to try and regionalize it as it is present day pre-coronavirus when, it's 4 days on, 3 days off. But those 4 days, almost always you can navigate in a car as opposed to flying.
That's the way it should have been.
Do you think even if they kept the schedule the way it was, the insanity of it, if they did like how they travel in Japan, if they had a tour bus set up for you guys, do you think it would have helped? I mean, I know they say, everybody has a different eating schedule and sleeping schedule and a...
What would have helped was you fly into St. Louis. Your main shot is St. Louis. Your other town is 155 miles from St. Louis. You come back, stay in St. Louis. Someplace up in Illinois, 200 miles, come back. 5 days, 6 days, 7 days, make the one flight, rent the car for the week, have the hotel for the week, make the next loop. That would have worked.
Well, the way Ed explained it to me was, again, it was like Wild West booking back then. They were just trying to get into any building they could at any time.
When they could do it.
Right.
And to keep the other groups out.
And to screw with the other groups too. Right, right. So that was the main point of contention. But, I mean, do you think a bus could have worked to try and help the guys? Or do you think really that the personalities and the life schedules were so different it would have been tough?
In Japan it's different because they've got total control of you. If you miss the bus, which a couple guys did, or you're late for the bus,
you missed the bus,
which a couple guys did, you're going home the next day.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, not even catch up. You go home.
You're going home.
Really?
They don't need you.
Wow. Talk about respect.
And they really don't need you, because they can get on the phone and fly another top guy in there, or an underneath guy, or a middle guy in there, because they all want to go to Japan. I wouldn't want to be sitting on a bus waiting for Marty Jannetty to make the shot. You know what I'm saying?
What if they set up the same rules and regulations, maybe a little different than in Japan, but what if they just said, okay, the bus leaves at 9, if you're not down at 9, you find your own way to the next town.
If they would do that, but you're never going to work for us again, ever. But they do. You follow what I'm saying? The conversation we had way back.
Yeah, right. I don't disagree with what you're saying, but I'm just saying maybe in a more modernized American way, we're going to have the bus, we're going to transport you, we're leaving at 9. If at 9:01 you come downstairs, that bus will be gone, and then you're responsible to get there.
See, in wrestling time, 9 o'clock in the morning.
It's about 10:30.
No. Used to mean 8:45 sharp.
Oh, okay. I see what you're talking about in Japan.
No, in the United States.
How so?
the old timers, and even when Barry and I were in the Mid-Atlantic area, if you're going to meet, say, Wahoo, to pick up a ride, he said, I'll meet you at 5. You better be there at 4:45, because at 5 o'clock, he's leaving. He's leaving. I'm leaving. Barry's leaving. And guys knew that. But the guys that we had in that territory then, probably now too, both groups, they'll wait 15 minutes. So 15 minutes is now 30 minutes. 30 minutes is 45 minutes. Then you're racing, then you get to the building late.
Right.
If I can make it on time, it's Vince Lombardi time. And there again, I got that from my athletic involvement, sports. If the coach said, be here at 9, you're there before 9. If you're not on the bus, you're not going to go, and your butt's going to go home.
Can you think of anybody in Japan that happened to?
Oh, yeah. The one guy that became one of the Freebirds.
Terry Gordy?
Not Terry Gordy, no. Terry
Hayes?
was...
Michael Hayes?
Nope, the blonde
Buddy
guy.
Roberts?
Buddy Roberts. And his old partner, the first partner. They were the blondes.
Oh, the Hollywood Blondes.
Yeah.
Jerry Brown?
Yep, Jerry Brown.
Okay. Both of them?
They didn't get sent home for missing the bus. They got sent home for not going to restaurants and keeping up their health and not showering. They'd come on, it was about 3 or 4 days into the tour, like a 5-6 week tour. And Peter Takahashi, who was the head referee at the time, said, you guys no take shower. And he said, so what? So that went on for 3 days. The 4th day, they got on the bus, and the driver of the bus and Peter said, you guys need to get off bus. Why? He says, you go home today. Yeah, because Japanese are a very clean population. But that's one instance. Of all guys that were never late, Mike Sharp, who was habitually late.
Well, you know what? And Mike probably loved it over there.
Who was habitually late because he knew he had to be there.
What do you mean he was?
He was habitually late here in the States. Last one in the building, got locked in the building a couple times.
That was for his showering, though, wasn't it? Yeah.
But that wouldn't happen in Japan, because if he was stuck in the building for an hour after the matches, they'd have sent him home.
The bus would have been long gone.
They'd have sent him home.
Yeah. Did Mike ever go over to Japan and have a situation like that?
No, I was in Japan.
You were just using that as an analogy.
No, I was in Japan with Mike a couple times.
Oh, were you?
No problem at all. He knew that if it meant 9 o'clock leaving, at 9 o'clock leaving.
He took his shower
Yeah,
early.
he took a shower at the hotel room. But I'm not the only one. You asked any of the guys, they're not going to wait on a bus for 15, 20 minutes when we got there.
Nor should they. Nor should they.
That wasn't good. It would be better to get the cars.
Were there any, can you think of any other guys that ran into that issue where it wasn't being late for the bus, but cleanliness that cost them spots? I know Vader was one that the guys would always talk about that stunk. His name,
no, I was never around.
They called him Leon Ripe instead of Leon White.
No, I was never around. No, I don't recall.
Tony said, Tony Atlas said the worst that he ever worked with was Randy. He said Randy stunk to high, Savage. He said he stunk to high heaven because he didn't do laundry because it costs money.
Well, that might be, but I don't know. I don't know.
Iron Mike Sharp, who knows if his name is ever going to come up again in these conversations. You know, there's a guy that really spent the majority of his career trying to make other people look good and trying to stay clean at the same time.
When I first came in as a superstar, they were going to give Mike a big push.
Really?
Yeah.
And what happened?
He showed up late for the building. He showed up late for interviews.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it because of the obsession with showers?
Yes.
Or was real?
Yeah.
He's.
Yeah. Cost him a top spot.
From what I do recall, again, it was before my time as a fan, he did kind of reach maybe like a mid-card level, and maybe that was the point where they were gonna push him a little bit.
They were gonna push him to work against Backlund. He was gonna have a good push.
But because of these showers.
Yeah. He would show up late to the building because he was preparing to come to the building.
He was that obsessed with being clean.
Oh my God.
And I tell you this, people that know me know I am the ultimate germaphobe. If I go to long before coronavirus, if I go to a hotel, I have my little bag, I have a package of spray, I rub down phones, remote controls, I wash down the mattress on the bed, because God only knows when the last time that was clean.
Yep.
I wash down the headboard. My ex used to think I was nuts, but you know what? I was prepared for coronavirus.
Yeah.
But even I wasn't
It was
as
a
bad.
day off for you.
What's that now?
It was a day off for you.
Exactly. With Iron Mike, he was even worse than me. I mean, all I've ever heard about are these showers.
Showers, and Mike would have, we put on deodorant.
Yeah.
Mike would put on a half a container of deodorant. He'd carry his own toilet paper. He carried his own foot spray, because we brought newspapers, and he put newspapers on the floor and then wash his feet before he'd step on the papers, and then put his socks on. And then when he was lacing up his boots, it would take him an hour to lace up his boots, because
Why?
if they weren't perfectly in each loop, he'd take them all apart.
So maybe he had OCD.
Oh, he had OCD .2.
Marty told the story on this show where I think he said when he was trying to get, pumped up a little bit to get ready for the match, he, instead of touching the floor, he'd put down the rolls of toilet paper and do the push-ups off of the toilet paper. Is that true?
I never saw that, but I knew he would do it on paper. Yeah.
He
And Mike,
cost
you couldn't
himself his
find
career.
you couldn't find a nicer guy.
Really?
He was always happy. He was always, he was
Clean.
intent. I mean, Mike would work, but from the time he got to the building, let's say he got to the building at 5, until after the tapings, discounting the time he was in the ring, he was working out. Push-ups, squats, all that time.
At one point, I think they would actually, maybe before Dino Bravo, they would call him Canada's strongest man.
Yeah.
Was he someone that was kind of, even though he didn't have that gassed up look, was he a really strong guy?
Oh my goodness, he was naturally strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me. He looked like he was
He
kind of...
probably did, and I never sat and counted, but Mike probably did 1,000 push-ups a day.
Wow.
Yeah.
So he was just constantly working out and constantly
Yep.
showering.
Yeah.
What a shame, though. I mean, did you ever work him?
I work with Mike, yeah.
How was he to work with in the ring?
Good.
Well, good?
Yeah. A little stiff,
Yeah.
but you can't complain about it. I mean, he was stiff in the right places.
Yeah. Hit hard in safe places,
Yeah,
right?
you're not. He wasn't going to punch you in the eye,
Yeah.
across the back or the chest or stuff like that. So
Well,
I occasionally did that myself.
you were the same way?
Yeah.
Now, were you known for being stiff?
No,
No. No.
I
but
was snug.
snug.
There's a difference between snug and snug is comfortable, that you know I'm there, versus loose and you didn't know what to sell, versus stiff as they're going to hurt you. No.
Was your style any different in America than Japan?
A little more snug in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That makes
And
sense.
faster.
And faster, okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, wrestling fans, another episode has come and gone. The Iron
And
Mike's...
we're still not through the year.
Oh, we're not even close. We still, the next episode, we have to finish the question we just started, but I'm still in hysterics over the Iron Mike shop story. The show, I don't know why. Maybe it's because I know about the little quirks that I have when it comes to cleanliness, and it doesn't compare to the Iron Mike Sharp stories I've heard. But I hope you guys had some laughs. I hope you guys had some fun on tonight's Wrestling Insiders. Again, leave your thoughts if you're with us during the premiere and the premiere chat. Don't forget the super chat button is always open. Don't forget to tip the bartender if you come across this episode after the premiere. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. We'd love to know what you think. Again, you can help this show in many, many ways grow so we can bring you more great legends and superstars. Maybe have Bill on 5 nights a week. Give the show a thumbs up. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Both are absolutely free. It lets YouTube know that you like what we're doing, and they showcase our video to more and more fans that don't know we exist right now. And unfortunately, there are millions of them, like the millions of lapsed fans that loved 80s wrestling, and the millions of lapsed fans that loved the Attitude Era and the Monday Night Wars in the 90s. We want those fans to check out these shows because I truly believe they will love them once they find them. Of course, there are other ways you can help. You can share the link across social media. Everybody's on their phone nowadays, Bill. Everybody's on their computer, their tablet, whatever it may be. There's Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, Facebook wrestling groups. There is Instagram. There's all those wrestling, what they call dirt sheet type websites. Let them know what we got going on. And of course, the 2 major ways you can help the financial burden that we face. The link to the eBay store is in the description box below. We have great wrestling merchandise with superstars from every era. Not only do you get the merchandise for your collection, you help keep the wrestlers working, and we give you an on-air shout-out on this program. What more could you ask for other than this? Because if you don't just want to be a friend of ours on the show, if you don't just want to be a fan, if you want to join the Boston Wrestling MWF family, head on over to Bill's favorite website, patreon.com/Boston Wrestling, where for about the cost of a cup of coffee over at Starbucks, you get early ad-free access to all of these talk shows. You get access to hundreds of studio shoot interviews that have been seen by millions online and millions around the world on Howard Stern, thanks to Sheiky Baby. You get some Patreon exclusives and the knowledge that your fine self, when you lay your head down on the pillow to go to sleep, you have the knowledge knowing that you're helping keep wrestling legends working during some very difficult times due to coronavirus. Again, patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. Check it out. And if you can only do one more thing, Bill, I know you have it, probably forget about pencil and pen. Save the date. Memorial Hall in Melrose, 2 blocks down the road from where we create this world of craziness here in Boston Wrestling MWF. It is not just going to be Back to the 80s WrestleFest, where you'll be able to interact, meet and greet, and have a Q&A with the wrestling greats from the 80s that are coming your way. It's amazing that myself and a friend from high school have maintained this crazy for 20 years. So let me tell you, you're going to love meeting the 80s legends. We're going to have a great tribute to these legends, but the in-ring action that will feature the superstars and legends of yesterday, today, and tomorrow, it's going to be balls to the wall, because every one of those young athletes that you're going to see that you may have never even heard of yet, they're going to have the chance to pick the brains of some of the greatest legends to ever step foot in the ring. It is going to be an event you're not going to forget as a fan. It's going to be a night that the wrestlers themselves aren't going to forget. Again, ticket information will be forthcoming on BostonWrestling.com. For my partner in crime in this series, the legendary Bill Eadie, I am the much more humble Dan Marty. Until we speak again, you and yours be well, stay healthy. Good night.
Wrestling fans looking for the perfect holiday gift? Discount VIP packages and tickets to Boston Wrestling Soul Survivor 10 Back to the 80s, Saturday night, April the 16th at Memorial Hall in Melrose, Massachusetts are on sale now. Join WWE Hall of Famer Jake the Snake Roberts, 3-time WWE Tag Team Champions Axe and Smash Demolition, The Wild Berzerker, and more 1980s legends to be announced. Take part in a VIP exclusive Q&A session. Meet the wrestling icons up close and personal in an autograph and photo fan fest. Fest. Then get ready as the superstars and legends of yesterday, today, and tomorrow take part in a night of white-hot in-ring action. Discount VIP packages and tickets are on sale now for a limited time at bostonwrestling.com. Join us for a professional wrestling reunion decades in the making, April the 16th. Fans, have you enjoyed our interviews with Demolition X? If so, it's more important than ever to join the Boston Wrestling Patreon family as we're out of original episodes with the man. Unfortunately, hate to say it, when you join the Patreon, you get that early, full-screen, ad-free access to Wrestling Insiders. Our world-renowned studio shoot interview DVD library is seen by millions online, millions more on The Howard Stern Show, Patreon exclusives, and more. Again, at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. As noted, earlier today, we had a Patreon exclusive watch-along with the Berzerker, and then again on New Year's Day to kick off 2022, Axe will be back in another Patreon exclusive as we watch along Demolition winning the WWF Tag Team titles for the very first time from Strikeforce at WrestleMania 4. Bill believes it was the first time he'd ever seen the match on video, which I thought was kind of interesting. Up next, it's our brand new series fans are absolutely falling in love with, Wrestling Insiders Throwback Thursdays with the Berzerker John Nord. And I should say, after our wild premiere last week, in episode 2, the Berzerker shoots on some of his injuries, the Iron Sheik planting drugs on him trying to enter Canada, and the locker room altercation that followed. Jesse the Body Ventura, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, Eric Bischoff, Goldberg, and tons more, and another must-see episode with the Berzerker. All right, wrestling fans, welcome to episode number 2 of our new series, Wrestling Insiders Throwback Thursday with John Nord. It is a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, Brother Dan.
The feedback to our premiere episode was off the charts, and again, so many stories, we couldn't even fit into one episode, just about a couple of guys. I mean, this series could go on for years and years as long as we don't run into theft and booze and all these other things. But we won't go there. It's the holiday season. Literally, we're 2 days away from Christmas. The fans sent in some very interesting questions when they knew we were going to be back. You know, the Paul Bearer Holiday Headlocks Toy Drive, it means a lot to us. Even though the raffle is over, we're still going to have great merchandise available through the end of 2021. John,
so you get questions from the fans?
Oh, we always get questions from the fans.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if you missed the Cyber Autograph signing, hopefully John is going to be with us again in January. We're trying to work out
I will be here in January.
Well, he's
I
answered the
said it,
question.
so I'm going to mean it.
And I think we may even stay a little longer this time, more than 2 days, maybe 3.
Okay.
I think we need to do that.
Okay.
I think the fans are going to love this content so much.
I know you guys are going to love. It's going to turn into a little bit of a party and just have a good time BS in here. Not BS and telling the truth.
You're not going to fall through a wall.
No, I ain't going to slam anybody through a windshield.
You're not going to take money for artwork.
No, no.
All right, John. Fans wanted to know, very kind of a simple, basic question.
Yeah.
Where it's the holiday weekend.
Yeah.
Tell us some of your favorite Nord Christmas stories.
Nord Christmas stories was, well, it was Christmas, and my dad had a car lot. A real big one, and the show floor was big, and it was called Nord Motor Company.
Now, where was this?
And it's in Anoka, Minnesota. Got no credit. We don't care. No down payment. We still don't care. Don't make your payment. That's right. Then we care. We're Nord Motor Company, located a mile west of Anoka on Highway 10. And with payments as low as $82 a month. That didn't hurt much, did it? And I do a commercial where I slam a guy through a windshield.
Really?
It's on Google. It's on the thing.
Oh, is it? All right, we'll see if we can find it. Yeah.
And the thing goes like this. No credit, we don't care. No down payment, we still don't care. Don't make your payment. I scoop them up. I slam them through an 85 Rev window, glass, candy glass, that cost $2,000. The only place I could get it was Hollywood. slam him through the window. Don't make your payment. Crash, crash. I go to the roll off the car, look into the camera and say, that's right, then we care. And that got over so big. Now, this is at Christmas time, close to Christmas. I think the Vikings were in the first round of the playoff, if I remember right, because Disco Darren Nelson dropped the ball. Anyways, what happened was we started a party after we did it on the show floor, and everybody had Santa hats on. The kids were there. We were giving toys. We had a great time. The kids and the wives went home, and then the guys started, partying a little too hard. Wayne Bloom, one of the Beverly brothers, jumps in the back of my car in the trunk. And I'm driving around Anoka, Minnesota with the Bev brothers from Shaker Heights, Ohio, in the back of my trunk. Now, Mike Enos back then, I didn't know. Wayne Bloom hadn't even got into the wrestling business yet. But he's in the back of my car. I see his fingers up through the speaker holes, and I realized he was in there, and really didn't know he was in there. But besides that, I got home, and I was married, and it was 1987, and I got home, and I hear something. I knew Wayne was back there, so I let him out of the trunk, and I got home. The wife gave me a little bit of a chewing, but not too bad, and we ended up having a great Christmas.
That's your favorite Christmas?
That's a great Christmas.
It sounds like a lot of fun.
It was a great Christmas because my kids were small, and I could play with them. I could become them. 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds, I could act like that. And if you're a dad and you got little ones, oh, they're a blast. Your son's a blast at 16. My kids are all in their 30s now, and so they get a little less, they get a little more serious on you. But the point is, of course, how many Christmases? Many, but the ones I remember the most are with my brothers and sisters as little kids, wanting the Johnny Quest gun, wanting the Fred Flintstone projector, wanting the marbles or the pea shooter or all that stuff, or Pokey and Gumby, all them toys. And I had 11 brothers and sisters, and it was a ball, you guys.
And those must have been some pretty big Christmases for all the Nords.
Yeah, and we did it in a 3-bedroom house.
Wow. Oh, how many did you have per bedroom?
Well, we had a bedroom downstairs that technically I didn't count.
Oh, okay.
But we shacked up on 2x4 beds down there. The boys were down there, and the girls got to stay upstairs. So, it was action nonstop. What it was the best memories, actually, to me, of Christmas is watching the movie The Robe.
The Robe?
The 10 Commandments.
Oh, okay.
Ben-Hur. All of them movies they would have on TV. And my mom would get us root beer floats. And when you got brothers and sisters, and you don't have to lock your doors back then, life was just good, and it was so much fun. And if you ever get a chance, watch the movie The Robe. And it's very moving. It's very Christmas.
Well, you know what? It's that time of year. I think the world is a nicer place, a better place. I think the worst thing about Christmas is that it comes to an end. I miss the lights. I miss the music. I miss, like I said, I think people's demeanor in general is just a little nicer around Christmas time.
Oh, for sure.
And on
it
the
is.
26th, everybody
And
goes
you
back to
hate-
being an
and you-
asshole.
I'm like you, Dan. You hate when it goes away.
Yeah.
When it's over and people are taking the lights down, it kind of bums you out. You know?
And then, you get 3 months of cold until baseball season
Yeah,
starts.
right.
Yeah.
Then you got to wait till the Twins play. I got the Twins.
You got to put the Twins over, brother. That's
Yeah,
all right.
we got the Twins and Joe Mauer. Anyways, yeah. But hey, you got the Vikings. Despite of them breaking my heart for 62 years, the Vikings are still my team. New England Patriots second.
You like the Patriots? What about the Patriots do you like?
I just love how ass-kicking good they were. You know what I like is they get guys like Chris Hogan, who was a lacrosse player that never played football. And he runs like the wind. He ran a 4.4, 4.5, 40. And here's Chris Hogan just being a heck of a wide receiver. And he was a lacrosse player. But if you watch lacrosse, you'll realize it's a tough game. It's a violent game, and it's tough. You can't be no pansy.
Was that a cue, John?
Yeah, Chris Hogan was, I don't ever think he was all pro, but he was close. And anybody that watched him realized what an athlete he was. He was kind of like the Adam Thielen who plays for the Vikings. Now, Adam Thielen came from a Division III college, Mankato State in Minnesota. Nobody gave him a shot. Nobody wanted him, nobody cared about him, and he just outworked everybody. He's not super fast, but he runs perfect routes, and he's got unbelievable hands. That's why he made the team. That's why he signed a big contract a couple years ago. Remember the name Adam Thielen for the Vikings.
I think Bill Belichick might have been a good booker in professional wrestling where he can take some of these unknown talents and make superstars out of them.
I agree, Dan. I agree. I think Belichick just is, he'd be the Vince McMahon of wrestling. He might even be a little smarter, you know.
Yeah.
Vince is smart, but I don't know if he's smart as Bill Belichick.
Very strategic. I believe his family was involved in the military, and he's one of the few football guys. And I didn't know this was a thing, but I guess a lot of football people kind of, stick their nose up in the air towards baseball. But Belichick admires the strategy in baseball, from what I've been told.
Oh,
So
well, that
maybe
just
that has something to do with it.
That just shows you how smart Belichick is.
Yeah.
Is he don't limit his thinking to just this. He goes, I'm going to pick a little bit out of baseball, how they strategically do stuff. I'm going to pick a little bit out of basketball. I'm going to pick a little bit out of football.
Even the military.
And the military is huge because I'm real big on driving by all them white crosses that you see of all the guys buried from World War II that stopped Adolf Hitler and Japan. By the way, we'd be talking German right now. And I got no qualms against the Germans. I love them. They need help. Back then, we helped them after the war, and now they're doing great. But they had a maniac, a killer, Adolf Hitler, and we had to stop him, just like we had to stop Japan. And the heroes involved are incredible. Do you know 20,000 guys died at Iwo Jima? 20,000 of our boys out of high school died. When I was in high school and got out of high school. I was worried about kegs and beer and girls. They weren't. They had to go right into the military and go fight on the front lines. So thank God for our freedom. Don't you agree?
110%. 110%. That's why we do some great work with the Wounded Warriors Project. And,
Do ya?
For our live
Do ya?
events, we have some of the families of the troops come out, and so we try and do what we can. You know, we're not the size of WWE,
No,
obviously. But
we
what
can't.
we can do on a small scale, we try and do. That's what it's all about.
I like that, Dan, about you. You do, and I really mean that. I see you doing this stuff, or I hear about it, and I say, hey, he's trying, he's digging in. Sometimes he hits a steel wall, but he don't quit digging. He don't quit digging, and we need you to keep going, Dan. And I promise you, I will show up and help anytime I can. I don't know if I'm worth anything, but I'll show up.
No, you're
and
worth
help.
something. I'm going to tell you, the fans are going to continue to love more and more what we produce. You know, it's nice to hear that from you. And, you know, I think one thing that's always bothered me is that so many people look down upon what we do in our genre when there's so much good that's done. Not
There's
just in
so much
not
good.
WWE's community relations, which is, yeah, I think a lot of it is sincere, a lot of it is PC. You know, I mean, they need to put that corporate hype out there that they do those types of things.
And the bottom line, this is about having fun.
Right.
You know, this is about having fun, and that's what we're doing right now. And if you want to have fun, keep with us.
Keep with every Thursday night. Throwback Thursday.
Nights. Throwback Thursdays, baby. Nighttime.
Late at night.
Late at night.
There we go.
I love it. I'm telling you, this is a riot to me.
Well, you know what, John? I don't know what you're going to think now that after you've said that, but some of the fans, you know, maybe we can turn this episode where the holidays are here, and it can be kind of sad for a lot of people. They may be alone. They may not have families.
Yeah.
We got a couple of questions about, I guess, things that people have read online.
Yeah.
About some hard times that you faced, John, in recent years. You
Let
know, in a perfect time,
Don't be shy.
We're getting time cue from the back. Right now, we're going to take a brief timeout. When we come back, we're going to talk more about the human side of the Berzerker John Nord. Stand by.
Tea timeout.
Wrestling fans looking for the perfect holiday gift? Discount VIP packages and tickets to Boston Wrestling Soul Survivor 10 Back to the 80s, Saturday night, April the 16th at Memorial Hall in Melrose, Massachusetts are on sale now. Join WWE Hall of Famer Jake the Snake Roberts, three-time WWE Tag Team Champions Axe and Smash Demolition, The Wild Berzerker, and more 1980s legends to be announced. Take part in a VIP exclusive Q&A session. Meet the wrestling icons up close and personal in an autograph and photo fan fest. Then get ready as the superstars and legends of yesterday, today, and tomorrow take part in a night of white-hot in-ring action. Discount VIP packages and tickets are on sale now for a limited time at bostonwrestling.com. Join us for a professional wrestling reunion decades in the making, April the 16th. Wrestling fans, we warned you this day would come. Unfortunately, we're running out of original episodes of Wrestling Insider's Party with Marty each and every Thursday night at 10 p.m., but we're starting up that Indiegogo. You can help the cause. You can help Marty's show continue each and every week. Nobody does it like Marty. We had an incredible time with him at our 20th anniversary bash, November 13th at Memorial Hall here in Melrose. We want to have the good times keep on rolling, but we can't do it without you. Look for the Indiegogo link in the comment section below or across our website and social media platforms. We have some great perks, great rewards where you can even meet Marty himself. There's nothing like it. Since July of 2020, every week we've brought you the show. We need your help to keep on going. We tell you, without wrestling fans, there is no professional wrestling, and there's no better time to help the cause now. Let's keep Marty rocking each and every Thursday night.
Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, I'm Dan Marty.
And I'm Mr. USA WWE Hall of Famer Tony Atlas.
The road to Wrestlemania has begun. Wrestling fans are looking to add to their man caves. You got to see what we have in the eBay store.
Check it out.
arguably the greatest professional wrestler of all time. Get this limited edition collector's autograph print personally signed by two-time WWE Hall of Famer Nature Boy Ric Flair, inscribed 16 times for each of his recognized World Championship reigns. One of only 50 made direct from our friends at WWE. Also signed by original artist Rob Schamberger. Help keep wrestling legends working. Get this awesome Ric Flair collectible for your wrestling collection now. Wrestling fans, especially here in the Boston area, we want to thank our great friends at Red Rose for their support for all of our charitable endeavors and programming efforts. Red Rose is 2 years young and extremely thankful for all the support they've had from our neighbors here in Melrose and beyond for an amazing first 2 years. Red Rose thanks Melrose and all of the first responders who have fought the good fight and have never given up hope during these unprecedented times. We did it together. Follow Red Rose on Facebook for their anniversary special, facebook.com/Red Rose Melrose. You'll be glad you did. Open until 2 a.m. Red Rose will give you fresh, piping hot, mouth-watering food that'll put an ear-to-ear smile on even the toughest critic's face. Check out their full menu online at redrosema.com or give them a call, 781-620-1889. All right, wrestling fans, welcome back to Wrestling Insiders Throwback Thursday, our new series here in the Boston Wrestling Sports family, with hopefully a member of the family joining us in 2021 for the very first time, the Berzerker John Nord. We've been having a blast thus far. Our episode last week got such great rave reviews in the premiere, and this week we talked a little about Nord Christmas. And now again, I guess, you know, the internet, it's hard to keep a secret nowadays. Things went wrong.
Things get out there. You can lay it out there on me.
And you can sometimes correct things that may be inaccurate, which I like too.
I can, but go ahead. Any questions, lay it out there.
One of the biggest stars of the 1980s and the early 1990s. Yeah. How did things start to go wrong for John Nord?
Well, how did they go wrong?
How did they start to go wrong?
How did they start to go wrong?
Yeah, I mean, was it leaving the wrestling business full time?
I'll tell you this. I had car lots in my family all the time. So I can tell you this. I've never been fired from wrestling. Never. Vince never fired me. Vern never fired me. Bill Watts never fired me. Don Owens never fired me. Fritz Von Erich never fired me. And I worked for all of them, okay? I never got fired once, but I left them all because I knew I could make more money selling cars.
Really? Now
selling cars.
You actually sold cars yourself?
For my dad's car lot.
Okay. See, I didn't know that.
You guys look up Nord Motor Company, John Nord commercial. You'll see what I'm saying. Okay, so I'll tell you what I made. I made $142,000 2 years in a row. That's just an example. But the reason I want to tell you that is I'm staying home with my kids, my family. I don't have to fly on. I don't have to be gone for 2 weeks at a time. It might be less money, but it's still pretty dang good money. So the reason, I guess you would say, if you want to say went wrong, I don't know if those are the right words, but I'll tell you this. 2 things. One, I left. I never got fired. 2, and this is a biggie that a lot of guys don't like to talk about or can't. It hurts too much, is injuries. I had nerve damage on my left tricep. I had nerve damage on my right delt. I had nerve damage on my right pec. And I went down and my body started falling apart like I just never worked out a day in my life. And that's when it got real bad when I was with the WCW in 1997. Okay? If you notice, one of my first matches for them, I was just in one of the best shapes I've ever been in. Like when I was young, playing football. And then one day I was doing shrugs and something happened in my neck. And all of a sudden, this arm got an inch smaller in one day.
Wow.
This arm got 2 inches smaller in a week. Then 3. Then they started getting a little flabbier. So next thing you know, listen, I was wearing big hooded sweatshirts to hide my body. Because if I didn't, guys would say, what's going on? Why aren't you working out? Well, it's called nerve damage. And if you call nerve damage, you can't fix it. It's like this. If you've got an electrical box on the wall and you got a sledgehammer and you take it and you hit it as hard as you can and you hit that electrical box, all the fuses and stuff are broke. All right? Now you open up the box. This one works. This one don't. This one's dead. This one works. This one don't. That's how your body is. You've got electrical things in your body, nerves, that makes the muscle work and feeds it and takes care of it and gets it stronger. But guess what? If it's cut, something pinching it off in the back of your neck, you're shrinking down to nothing. And there's nothing you can do about it. I was told to go to a chiropractor, so I did. I tried. It did not work. And then I went to a doctor. He did cut me, and that didn't help. So injuries are just terribly traumatic. They really are. And especially when it's your job. That might be the thing why you say, when did things start to go wrong?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? To me, even when I'm like this and my, left tricep, pec, this don't work, bad right knee. Actually, I got 2 new knees and they're great.
Good.
This and that. I still think, now this, you're going to think, God, what a big head. It ain't a big head. I'm just trying to tell you what's in me. And that's, could I beat Haku? Could I beat up Wayne Bloom? Could I beat up For Real on a shoot? Could I beat up who was second toughest?
Harley?
Harley Race?
Yeah.
Was second?
Well, he's up there. Well, as far as how the guys rank.
Okay. Well, my opinion. Now, stay with me on this. I know I could beat them both up. I know I could. And if they hear me, if they hear this, they can call me at home, okay? And I know even now at 62 years old. But in my day, neither of them guys were amateur wrestlers like Brad Rankins or anything. That ain't gonna make you tough. Bar fights do not make you tough. I'm 112 and 0 in bar fights, okay? I don't count it because they don't mean shit.
What about Vaziri?
Who?
Khosrow Vaziri.
Khosrow?
The Sheik. He actually in this studio had some very unflattering things to say about you at one point.
Let me tell you something. You know why he did?
Because I guess you had made some remarks about him.
Well, I'll tell you the truth.
Canada.
I will tell you the truth.
Okay.
We were Edmonton, Canada. I got my bag. Okay, we're all going. Now this is years ago when you just went through a little line to get across the border. He comes up to me and says, and everybody knows this is true, Kaz is full of shit. Kaz, you're full of shit and you know it. And that pisses me off. Kaz, so he comes up to me, oh, John, too bad. I put the gimmick in your bag. What? I put the gimmick in your bag. Gimmick was a bag of pot about this big. Well, if you get busted back then in Canada with trying to smuggle in a bag of pot, you're going to prison. Now, do you think Kaz would stick up for me? Hell no. Hell no, he wouldn't. Fucking weasel. I'm pissed about this. Now, listen. This is the truth, and anybody will tell you it's the truth that knows that's got a head on their shoulder. So I took it out of the bag. I'm looking around for cameras. As far as I know, I think I seen one, but I threw it in a planter, right? I threw it in a planter. I didn't know what else to do. I was shaking. And so I threw it in. I got through. Kaz got through. Kaz, we get to Edmonton Arena. And I'll never forget because Herb Brooks was there. Herb Brooks is a very famous hockey coach. He was the head coach of the Edmonton team back then. Anyways, all of us Robbinsdale guys went nuts. And me, Hawk, Kurt, Rude, da-da-da. Anyways, so Cosgrove going with, oh, John, do you have a gimmick? I says, no, I ain't got the frickin' gimmick. I threw it in the thing. You think I'm going to take it across the border for you? I says, hey, just come here. Come here. We got to talk about this. Seriously. He goes, oh, what? Why you get so mad? I says, yeah, you're right. I'm mad. Boom. And I knocked that son of a bitch out cold.
You punched Berzerker?
I punched him out.
Really? I never heard that.
Yes.
I never heard that.
You know
side.
why? Because back then I just didn't care about bragging about it. It wasn't in my genes to really brag a lot about shit because this is how it is. Promoters, Vince, Turner, Vern, they can get very touchy. We don't want that guy. He's trouble. Who else might he knock out? He might knock out the Vince.
Right.
He might knock out our star. You know, so that's always the problem. He might be trouble. Well, after he got knocked out, about 10 minutes later, he got fired. Period. End of report.
That was the end of Colonel Mustafa.
And that was the end of Mustafa. And Mustafa, I would kick his ass so fast in a fight, it would make your frickin' head spin. Just trust me. If you don't believe me, you can ask Brad Reagans, who trained me. You can ask Brad Reagans anything you want on what I'm saying, if it's true or not true. Okay? If somebody that I can't take, fine, back then. Now, different. There's going to be two different times on toughness. Back then, he wouldn't have a chance. Now I seen the fat son of a bitch. He's fucking nothing now. So, very untrue. He had nothing else to do but lie because of what he did. And he begged for his job back. I would too. It hurt. He had a $200,000 a year job or whatever. Oh, please, John, don't, please. I said, no, I'm not giving in. I could have went to prison for years, and you wouldn't have given one hoot.
And your career on top of it.
And my career, but I ain't into sitting in by no 4x8 cell.
Right.
I'm not into that. And he knew what he did. He knew what he did, and that's what he did, and that's the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth. And if you got a problem, Mustafa, come find me, and we'll do it over again. You know what I mean.
Did he ever apologize?
Never seen him again because he got fired.
Oh, you haven't seen him since?
No.
Real? Oh, not even like a fan
I hope
fest?
I do see him.
Well, he's not moving. There's not a lot of moving going on right
well,
now.
there you go.
He's recliner bound.
Yeah,
at this
well,
point.
I wouldn't want to be mean in that respect.
Well,
believe me, I'm not talking like a tough guy here. Maybe I am a little bit, but I'm telling you the truth.
That could have caused a lot of trouble for you.
Oh my God,
Jail.
going to prison?
Jail.
You would have went to prison. And you think he would have went, I put it in his bag.
You think he was going to volunteer
I'm sorry, I
that?
put it in his bag. Hell no, he wouldn't have said that. So I nailed him. Listen, sometimes a guy's got a pretty good thing going for me. Mine is my right punch. I can hit really hard with my right punch. I'm not saying I can do anything else that great. I can't write that great. I don't wear a pink leotard that great. I don't cross my eyes that great. But I can punch with my right hand really good. God given me. Thanks God for the right hand.
And were you worried at all with his credentials, in the Olympics and the AAU?
Absolutely zero.
None.
Zero. Because I'll tell you, there's a whole different thing between, and there's one thing about tugging and not tugging. Listen, I got enough amateur wrestling to know that I could kick his ass. And it ain't just, all you got to do is land a right punch in his face, and he's going down, which he went down.
And it was just one punch. It wasn't even a fight.
It was one punch. And I said, well, come here, I got to talk about this. I wanted to get him away from the agents. The thing is if we were with the agents, let's say there was one agent there that liked Mustafa. I don't think anybody liked him. But let's say there was one agent. Now he goes to Vince, and he says, Nord punched him. Nord's dangerous. I don't know if we should even have him in the locker room, So I am very, very, if you wonder why you hold back in the locker room, it's because you're worried about your job. What are you going to do? Go back to your wife and say, honey, I'm fired. You mean you were making $250,000 a year and you just decided to punch this guy and not think about our family? Yeah.
He did say, and I don't know how you'd even react to this, that he wanted to make you humble.
I don't know what that means.
Well, in Iran, I guess it's a form, he used to be the bodyguard for the Shah. Part of their religion and their punishment is it's not considered a homosexual act if you're the one taking it as opposed to giving it. He wanted you, Brian Blair, Hulk Hogan, Jake Roberts, there was a select list that he wanted to make humble. He thought that was the ultimate form of revenge on what happened in Canada.
What I'm thinking is dirty shit?
He wanted to anally violate you.
That is so fucked up. That is so wrong. That is so Iranian. Go back to the fucking country, Kaz. If you're going to talk like that and act that, I heard you say that once, actually. Oh, Benderova, and make her humble. Oh, yeah, ain't that real good talk? We don't do that in America here. We try to keep it clean. No, we're not clean all the time. We're human. But we don't do your filthy shit. And if I see you, you're going to go down. And you know I can't. There ain't much left of you. I know that. Okay? And I got a lot of injuries myself. But I got enough to knock you out for a second time. Okay?
Well, Sheiky Baby to me is one of those characters that I look at my injuries now, and I put a lot of the blame on him because of his drug use. We wouldn't have been in the situation we were in. We would have never been in that car crash if it wasn't for all that bullshit.
Yep. And Dan, don't ever have him in this studio with me because it'll be ugly.
No, it's been a long time since we've had him in. Like I said,
if he comes.
Sobriety, I think, hurt him an awful lot because all of his injuries, he feels them now. When he was drunk and high every day.
It's like injuries, exactly.
Yeah, he feels
drunk
it
and
now.
high, you're just numb.
Yep.
Like this, and now it's like, ow, because you got nothing to make you.
I don't think you'd have to worry about being humble.
Well, yeah, and that's just some filthy stuff. There's guys that can say anything they want, but I will tell you this. In a real fight, for whatever reason, I'm not saying I'm the toughest guy on, if I went into MAA, I'd get my ass handed to me. But that ain't what I'm talking about. I'm talking about growing up in Robbinsdale, being in pro wrestling. To the pro wrestlers growing up in Robbinsdale, I never lost a fight. And that's one thing. It's not an ego. It's just the truth. I know when I go down someday and meet the good Lord, he might say, John, yeah, it might be a little ego there. You better stop. But I can tell you, I've never lost. And I won't.
And you took Berzerker in Edmonton.
I knocked him out in 1 fight.
Easy enough. All right, wrestling fans, we got the cue in the back from John C. Manicus Riley. We'll be back with the final segment. Stand by for more Wrestling Insiders Throwback Thursday with John Knorr.
Thank y'all.
Wrestling fans looking for the perfect holiday gift? Discount VIP packages and tickets to Boston Wrestling's Soul Survivor 10 Back to the 80s, Saturday night, April the 16th at Memorial Hall in Melrose, Massachusetts are on sale now. Join WWE Hall of Famer Jake the Snake Roberts, three-time WWE Tag Team Champions Axe and Smash Demolition, The Wild Berzerker, and more 1980s legends to be announced. Take part in a VIP exclusive Q&A session. Meet the wrestling icons up close and personal in an autograph and photo fan fest. Then get ready as the superstars and legends of yesterday, today, and tomorrow take part in a night of white-hot in-ring action. Discount VIP packages and tickets are on sale now for a limited time at bostonwrestling.com. Join us for a professional wrestling reunion decades in the making, April the 16th. Fans, we warned you this day would come. Unfortunately, we're running out of original episodes of Wrestling Insiders Party with Marty each and every Thursday night at 10 p.m., but we're starting up that Indiegogo. You can help the cause. You can help Marty's show continue each and every week. Nobody does it like Marty. We had an incredible time with him at our 20th anniversary bash, November 13th at Memorial Hall here in Melrose. We want to have the good times keep on rolling, but we can't do it without you. Look for the Indiegogo link in the comment section below or across our website and social media platforms. We have some great perks, great rewards where you can even meet Marty himself. There's nothing like it. Since July of 2020, every week we've brought you the show. We need your help to keep on going. We tell you, without wrestling fans, there is no professional wrestling, and there's no better time to help the cause now. Let's keep Marty rocking each and every Thursday night. Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, I'm Dan Marty.
And I'm John Cena Sr.
Johnny, the momentum here in Boston Wrestling continues as we continue to build and build and build. The fans want to know, how do we help? We subscribe to the Patreon, but we see all the great merchandise on that set. Coronavirus may have killed the nightlife, especially for someone like Marty, but our acclaimed eBay store is open 24/7 around the world.
Wow. Check it out.
The Undisputed Era kicked ass and took no prisoners in WWE NXT. Now you can own this limited edition collector's autographed art print personally signed by Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, Kyle O'Reilly, and Bobby Fish. Also signed by the original artist, Rob Schamberger, one of only 50 made direct from our friends at WWE. Help keep wrestling legends working. Get this awesome collectible for your collection now. All right, John. Well, on a Christmas episode, I really didn't expect to be talking about the potential anal violation of you, but we never know where these stories are going to go sometimes.
We just go with them.
One question that came into my mind as we were talking, again, it's not on the script. You mentioned MMA, UFC. If it was around back in the day when you were a younger guy, would you have considered that instead of pro wrestling?
You know what? If I was injury-free, I would have considered it.
If you're talking, let's say, 21, 22-year-old John.
Yeah. I'll tell you, when I was 19, I was in teenage Minnesota, okay?
And what's that?
It's a bodybuilding.
Oh, okay.
And I was 235, 6'5". So they were counting on me. Now, these are years ago, but they're true. They were counting on me as being like the next Lou Ferrigno.
Okay.
Arnold 6'2", Franco Colombo's 5'9", Frank Zane is 5'11", these bodybuilders. But the guys that are 6'5", now there's something to talk about. So I was 235. So a guy named Joe Weider, heard of him?
I've heard of the name.
Joe Weider is on all the magazines. He sold the supplements. He became a multi-millionaire. He's a very famous Jewish guy that is just, he made the bodybuilders. Arnold came overseas. The reason Arnold came what he came is Joe Weider and steroids. Franco Colombo, Joe Weider and steroids. Lou Ferrigno, Joe Weider and steroids. So I'm sitting at Jesse Ventura's gym, and I'll talk like him. Hey, Johnny, why did you punch that guy out at the fountain? I said, because he took my 10-speed. He goes, if he sues me, I'm gonna sue you. And I said, that's okay, take my 10-speed. That's all I got. Nor you got problems.
Oh, you knew?
Anyways.
You knew the governor?
I grew up with the governor.
Okay.
My brother played football with him.
Oh, really?
My brother introduced him to Terry. My brother used to call her Natalie. Anyways, yes, very well. I used to babysit Tyrell.
Oh, yeah, his son. I remember him by name. Okay.
Me and Mac and Wayne Beverly brothers, we used to watch him. And then we ran his gym. He gave me $200 a week cash. I thought I hit the lottery. That was big money. Anyways, what was your question?
I didn't know that when I think about your career paths and his career paths, that you would have come across each other all that much.
Yeah.
Other than being Minnesota guys.
Yeah, I never wrestled Jesse. He kind of had his big run, and then he sued Vince for all the tapes.
Yeah.
And all that. And I think he won about $800,000.
He did, yeah, he did all right.
Yeah, he did good. And good for him, because he should have got paid.
If he was entitled to it,
If he's entitled to it, he should have got paid. But Jesse's stories, I can tell you a true story. I'm outside trying to move a refrigerator in his garage. And I look up at his wife, and she's in the bay window of the house watching us. And he starts his bullshit. Hey, Johnny, I can put a wrestling move on you and eat an apple at the same time and have you not get up while I eat the apple. I said, really? And I'm 19 now. I'm in the best shape of my life. I mean, I got no injuries. I'm ripped. And Jesse puts it on me, this, that. I said, it's good. Is it tight? Is it good? Yeah. Okay, Wayne, Beverly Brothers. I says, Wayne, you say go. 1, 2, 3, go. I busted out of it. I picked him up and I slammed him on the ground. And I looked up at the picture window with Terry, his wife, and she went just like this. And she walked away. And he got up, his hair was sticking straight up. He got up and his hair in his face was just beet red and said something like, well, I don't know if I had it on there right, Johnny. And it was just so bogus. But see, he's full of shit on all that. Just like when he was in high school, even swimming, I talked to guys that I ran into that swam against him, and he said he was the biggest smack talker there ever was in swimming. And I know guys that got invited to the inauguration for the governor. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't invited. And I know guys that got invited. And he's just, all I can say is, and Wayne Bloom of the Beverly Brothers one time got in a fight with him at the gym.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What happened there?
And Wayne said something, and when Wayne, see, everybody's got a 2 to 5 year gap when they're the toughest. Mm-hmm. Okay? You lose it either way. Somehow. Injuries, whatever. You just lose it. But Wayne had it at 2 to 5, just like I had a 2 to 5 year gap. Wayne had a 5-year gap. He hit, and during Ventura, Wayne said something about her being a whore or something.
Who was a whore?
Ventura's wife.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and Carrie. And she took her shoe off, her high heel. And you got to remember, we're all by incline squat machines, bench presses, dumbbells. Everybody's drunk as hell, not just kind of drunk, really drunk. And she takes her shoe and starts hitting Wayne, and Wayne went hit her. He just kept like this. And then here comes Ventura, and Ventura's going to hit Wayne, and Wayne hit him. And he staggered back. And he didn't go down, but he staggered back. And then Wayne went towards him and hit him again. And then he went down, and he goes, let's go. He wasn't bleeding or nothing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
He just got punched, but I think his face went swelled up.
Swelled up.
Yeah, swelled up. So he just left the party. He ain't going to beat up nobody, Ventura. There's guys that are fighters, and there's guys that are not fighters. I mean fighters. Guys that will hit you hard in the face. I mean, one guy that I'll tell you that is not a friend of mine is Johnny Ace.
Why is
John Laurinaitis. And he should be, because I knew him from Joe, Joe's younger brother.
Right.
Another basketball player, Division III, just like Kevin Nash, another basketball player with 2 left feet. Just like Scott Hall, another basketball player with 2 left feet. Same thing, all 3 of them got 2 left feet, and they played basketball. How tough do you think they're going to be? Not very tough. But the reason I brought up John Laurinaitis, and me and Brad Ringens ran into him at Planet Hollywood in Tokyo. And he's talking like this. Yeah, I got it. Well, all we can do, you know, I got my shoulder that's sore. And me and Ringens go, hey, Ace, what's the deal? You got like something in your throat, or you got, you know, maybe something wrong with it? Why are you doing? Oh, no, it's just, maybe you can cut the shit on the hard voice shit, you know?
You think the voice is a work?
The what? Of course it's a work.
Really?
Anybody can talk like this. It's a work. Smarten up, Dan.
I'll tell you this.
Dan, smarten up.
I've always had great interactions with the man, but I never suspected it.
He's super personable.
Yeah.
Super. But I'll tell you something. What he did to me in the ring in Tokyo, okay? He had a partner. I forgot who it was. I had a partner. I forgot who it was. We're going at it, and he somehow did something in the ring where it pissed me off, where he tried just not going along and having things go smooth and having the finish go smooth. Then at the end, I took a chair and I hit that son of a buck so hard in the back of the head. He'll confirm this. He was bleeding like a stuffed pig, and I'm waiting on the bus, and he comes walking in, and he goes, thanks a lot. I go, what happened to the voice?
You knocked the voice out of him.
Yeah, I said, well, I guess I cleared it up. No, I did that. And he goes, well, then he went to that. And then he goes, Rick, I says, guilty. I hit you, I'm sorry.
It sounds like
I'm guilty. The reason is I said guilty because I didn't want the Japanese to be mad at me and say you're done with the tour. You hit him in the head. Do you follow me on that shit?
Right.
It can be very touchy. So,
and he added some ins over there, even with the Baba family, I've heard.
Oh yeah, Mrs. Baba. We'd go before the matches. Now this is in '94. I did 9 months for Baba in '94. And I was with Ace every time. Well, Ace would practice in the ring before the show, and we'd go there early, and Ace would do a bump or something, went back, and then Mrs. Baba and Baba would be sitting in the stands all by themselves, nobody else, because it hadn't started yet. And Ace would look up to her and go, "Good? Was that good? I'm a suck ass. Is that good? Because I'm the biggest suck ass in the whole world." Anyways.
Well, he went from Mrs. Bob to Mrs. Bella, I guess, in his...
Yeah, no, he's we're done?
Oh, all right. Well, the time continues to fly by, but finish that story.
Listen, so he ended up, we ended up the year not being friends. All I can tell you is the people he screwed over, Barry Darsow. Another guy that screwed over that lived with Barry Darsow was Nikita Koloff.
How did he screw over Barry, out of curiosity?
Both slept on his bed in his apartment in Charlotte and never gave him $1 or a dime.
Johnny Ace slept on Barry's bed and...
Never gave him $1 or a dime. And you know what I mean, Ace. You screwed Darsow. Scotty Simpson, I graduated with you from high school. I love you like a brother. But guess what you did? You did the same thing Ace did. And you ask Barry Darsow next time he's here, and he will tell you, Dan, this is not bullshit. All the stuff I'm telling is going to be known as the truth. It's the truth right now. I got no reason to lie or make up this shit. Dan, I'm telling you, Barry Darsow, you know as well as I know, is not a liar.
No, not at all. He has character and integrity.
He has total integrity. He's not a liar. He's got nothing good to say about me, but good to say about me. And I have nothing good to say about Barry Darsow. Barry Darsow was a great football player. He played at Northern Iowa. He could run like the wind. He was just a great athlete. But my point being is both these guys screwed Barry over. And not just more than 1 month, like 6 months.
Wow.
So when am I going to get my money? And you know Barry. Well, get it to me when you can. Get it to me when you can. Yeah, you can have that steak, but you got to buy me the next one. Nothing ever came Barry's way. You could call Barry Darsow on the line right now, live, and ask him if you don't believe me.
Oh, I believe you. The one thing I've noticed about you and some of the different people that we've had here in the studio is that, you know what ruins it for the guys? You can tell every story as honestly and as well as you remember it as possible. But once you bullshit that one time, it takes away the believability and the plausibility of everything else you say. Yep.
Don't it?
That's why I like having you. It's refreshing.
Well, I'm just saying, I got no reason to lie. But I am glad to tell the stories. I'm not out to rip anybody's character, but it is what it is. And if you can say I'm sorry and be a man and repent and just say, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have did it, but I did it. I've had to do it in my life. You've had to do it in your life.
Sure.
They're going to have to do it. So man up, Ace. Man up, Simpson. Man up, Nash. Man up, Scott Hall. Man up, you guys. All you Division III basketball players with 2 left feet. Scott Hall couldn't knock over a Girl Scout carrying a pan of brownies. Kevin Nash couldn't knock over a Girl Scout carrying a pan of brownies. And you know what their problem was? Was during Turner in 97, 98, when they were with the NWO, they treated all the boys like crap, okay? And then it all blew up. They were both making $22,000 a week. Now it all blew up. Now the chickens come home to roost, boys. That's the way it works in my life. So Nash, Hall, I seen you, Nash, at the last signing, and I was ready to take your fucking table and tip it over on you. And don't think I won't. So I would be careful not to be on the same signings I'm on, especially you, Scott Hall.
You had that many issues with the two of them?
I don't like either of them because all they did was treat the boys like crap.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Scott Hall got into it a little bit. I was just joking. I said something like, yeah, geez, I was with Scott's wife 2 nights ago. And I was just laughing, joking. And he took it so personal. And I was totally joking. And he said, what, you want to go? Hey, man, you want to go? You want to go? And I'm like, you mean outside? I said, yeah, I'll go outside. Hey, man, be careful what you say. I says, I'll say anything I want. Fuck you. Go to your fucking kiss ass, Eric. And that's another guy, Eric Bischoff. Eric Bischoff, when I first met him, he was working for Vern Gagne. He held up his bowling trophy that was 3 inches high. Did you see my bowling trophy? Did you see my karate trophy? My karate trophy was 2 inches high. And I said, God, that's really great. How did you achieve such fame? That's wonderful, Eric. And then he got snaky. But I'll say one thing about Eric. I got to give him kudos to him. He signed me for $150 a year. Me and Darso went up to the CNN tower in Atlanta and both signed for $150 each a year.
How many years did you have?
Huh?
How many years?
2.
2.
Here was the heat. This was a big heat, Dan. Wayne Bloom, who we had to get in, you know, we got to get our buddies in.
Mm-hmm.
And Wayne was super close to both of us. Him and Darso set the 2-man world record deadlift. But me and Wayne, I known Wayne, I played football with him for a year. Anyways, Wayne's super close to me. Well, what I'm trying to get to quick as I can here is, where was I? Where was I?
Oh, you were at CNN Towers signing the deals.
Yeah,
Bischoff,
what about Wayne?
Trophies.
Oh, Wayne and Bischoff. Wayne and Bischoff. So Bischoff kept avoiding Wayne. He kept doing it. And Wayne did nothing but treat him good in the AWA. He told him he was a great guy, great announcer, helped him out on announcing, told him to do this, that, because Wayne could do a pretty good promo. Helped him all he could, and he wouldn't, all he did was avoid him. Finally, Wayne brought his kid down to the Minneapolis Target Center. And he brought his son with him for the what would you call that? To make it smooth, may help me. I got my son with me. Mm-hmm. You know, nothing against Wayne, but that's what happened. Wayne's gonna probably be mad at me for saying that. But he brought his son down there to try to get this deal. And what happened was, Bischoff came up to me and said, listen, John, the reason I don't want to sign Wayne is he sues everybody.
Oh.
Okay? Now, with that being said, I says, come on, Eric, please, just try, just give him something. It don't got to be a lot. So he ended up signing Wayne for $85,000 a year. Okay, and Wayne was so pissed because it's his ego, you know. He was just pissed. I'd go to Wayne, what are you getting? 85. I'm getting 150, you know.
But hopefully you didn't tell him.
Yeah, no, I did tell him. But I was just joking, but he would be mad. Excuse my language. Anyways, that was the story with Eric Bischoff. And Eric Bischoff, by the way, has this tendency to talk, well, John Nord's demons, John Nord Yeah, I loved to drink and get messed up and get high. Okay, I loved it. Okay, who didn't back then? But the bottom line was, Eric, I was getting hurt. My nerve damage was falling off my body. He had plans for a big push. I wrestled the Barbarian on Turner one night. I could barely lift him because I had no strength in my body. You know, if I would have got on the steroids, it would have helped me a lot, but they were testing for him. And they actually had a woman doctor put your goon nuts up inside yourself and feel them and shit. It's a woman doctor. Freaky. But anyways, sorry to say that, but listen, the bottom line was Wayne signed for 85. Bischoff, as far as I'm concerned, he got with Nash and Hall and totally screwed up their head. One more thing I gotta say is Bill Goldberg is another weasel. He never went to camp. Bischoff gave him 80-some wins in a row. Bill Goldberg was a damn good football player, but a fighter and a wrestler, absolutely not. He would get his ass kicked. I'd like to see him in wrestling camp. And here's the thing, Dan. Here's what I'll close with. You know, you want to know who's tough? You want to know who's tough? See who comes down to the wrestling camp and works out with the guys and turns on the steam. And let's see who's really tough, okay? Instead of doing what the promoter says to do, okay? I noticed Bill Goldberg never came down there. Kevin Nash never came down there. Scott Hall never came down there. You know who I did see down there? Kurt Hennig, Mike Hagstrand, me, Brad Rankins, on and on. But those other guys like that were too much of a pussy. And then on top of it, I see Goldberg on the frickin' YouTube rooting on his son, how you gotta be just as 100%. You gotta go for it in wrestling. Bill, it's a work. It's a work. You got 80-some wins because the promoter had the guys do that for you. It was given to you. You didn't take anything. So lighten up, Goldberg. You're another guy that ain't tough, but had a hell of a good, Bill, you're a good football player. Great. I'm going to give you that all the way. Congratulations. Wrestler, fighter, you're nothing.
All right, wrestling fans, you heard it from John Nord. We'll be back to wrap up the show. Stand by. Wrestling fans looking for the perfect holiday gift? Discount VIP packages and tickets to Boston Wrestling's Soul Survivor 10 Back to the 80s, Saturday night, April the 16th at Memorial Hall in Melrose, Massachusetts are on sale now. Join WWE Hall of Famer Jake the Snake Roberts, three-time WWE Tag Team Champions Axe and Smash Demolition, The Wild Berzerker, and more 1980s legends to be announced. Take part in a VIP exclusive Q&A session. Meet the wrestling icons up close and personal in an autograph and photo fan fest. Then get ready as the superstars and legends of yesterday, today, and tomorrow take part in a night of white-hot in-ring action. Discount VIP packages and tickets are on sale now for a limited time at bostonwrestling.com. Join us for a professional wrestling reunion decades in the making, April the 16th. Fans, we warned you this day would come. Unfortunately, we're running out of original episodes of Wrestling Insider's Party with Marty each and every Thursday night at 10 p.m., but we're starting up that Indiegogo. You can help the cause. You can help Marty's show continue each and every week. Nobody does it like Marty. We had an incredible time with him at our 20th anniversary bash, November 13th at Memorial Hall here in Melrose. We want to have the good times keep on rolling, but we can't do it without you. Look for the Indiegogo link in the comment section below or across our website and social media platforms. We have some great perks, great rewards where you can even meet Marty himself. There's nothing like it.
since July of 2020. Every week we've brought you the show. We need your help to keep on going. We tell you, without wrestling fans, there is no professional wrestling, and there's no better time to help the cause now. Let's keep Marty rocking each and every Thursday night.
Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, I'm Dan Marty.
And I'm Mr. USA WWE Hall of Famer Tony Atlas.
The road to WrestleMania has begun. Wrestling fans are looking to add to their man caves. You got to see what we have in the eBay store.
Check it out.
At WrestleMania 37, she proved she is the EST, defeating Sasha Banks to become the new SmackDown Women's Champion. Here's your chance to own this limited edition collector's autograph print, personally signed by Bianca Belair, one of only 50 made, direct from our friends at WWE. Also signed by original artist Rob Schamberger. Help keep wrestling legends working. Get this awesome Bianca Belair collectible for your wrestling collection now. Well, our Christmas-themed episode certainly took a few twists and turns, John. But again, that's what you can only expect here on Wrestling Insider's Throwback Thursday. When we go back to the good old days, throwback then, throw a few stories down. I certainly wasn't expecting to go the WCW route, but I'm sure we'll have many more discussions about your time there as the series goes on. But again, as we run out of time this week, we're a couple of days away from the big holiday itself. Like Frosty the Snowman used to say, I'll say goodbye, but don't you cry. I'll be back again someday. And in John's case,
I love that.
That'll be next Thursday night. For you and yours, have a very
Merry
happy
Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Very Merry Christmas.
And
we love you.
And we'll see you before the new year. Good night.
We love y'all.
Fans, did you enjoy having the Berzerker with us or what? Note, he'll be with us every Thursday night at 10 p.m. after Impact on AXS TV for must-see viewing. The Berzerker will also be with us live the weekend of January 22nd for more Wrestling Insiders tapings, live episodes, and cyber autograph signings. Set a reminder now. There should be a link up on the YouTube channel shortly. If you're looking for that awesome late holiday gift, fans, again, discount VIP packages and tickets are on sale now to Boston Wrestling Sports MWF Soul Survivor 10, Back to the 80s, Saturday night, April the 16th at Memorial Hall here in Melrose, featuring WWE Hall of Famer Jake the Snake Roberts, three-time WWE Tag Team Champions Axe and Smash Demolition, The Wild Berzerker, and more. The event features a VIP exclusive Q&A session, an autograph photo fan fest, all before the superstars and legends of yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Light up the squared circle like no tomorrow. Get your order in ASAP. If you like, we can still send you a Christmas card autographed by WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas and Marty Jannetty for gift-giving purposes. Head on over to BostonWrestling.com now to save some money and get the best seats in the house. On top of the four individuals I've already announced, pretty much I have come to terms with two other superstars that are going to be joining us on April 16th. The I's haven't been dotted and the T's haven't officially been crossed, but pretty much we've come to terms. It's just a matter of locking things in after the holidays, so we should be up to 6 very, very shortly. Don't forget that the Boston Wrestling eBay store is open for business 24/7 with great wrestling merchandise of superstars from every era. Click on the description box below or click the store button on BostonWrestling.com. As I've noted, a lot of the merchandise you see on the talk show set is available in the eBay store. You can have your own Boston Wrestling Insiders Man Cave if you like. Coming up next, it is the father figure of Boston Wrestling, the one and only WWE Monday Night Raw main eventer John Cena Sr. This week on Wrestling Insider's Fabulous Fridays, Cena shoots on Jeff Hardy's release from WWE, Kevin Owens' monster re-signing, the passing of Blackjack Lanza and Jimmy Rave, Kyle O'Reilly, Johnny Gargano, Christmas, and more. All right, wrestling fans, welcome to a special holiday edition of Wrestling Insiders here on Christmas Eve. Buon Natale to John Cena Sr., although I think the true Johnny is coming out. It's almost like that movie Aliens, when the alien came through the stomach.
You're a mean one.
You're a mean one, Mr. Cena.
Oh, I don't think so. I just got through taking care of a lot of children as the jolly old one down at the Hammond Castle in Gloucester.
Well, you know what? Thanks to a very lovely lady, I actually got to see some pictures of it. She posted them online, and I had never seen you in that,
regal before.
Well, I'll tell you something. It's a gift. It's just so great being able to deal with these little kids, listening to what they want and what they don't want. And I'll tell you, those children are willing to give up so that others can have. We can take a good lesson from these little tiny people. All these big folks think they got to get all this stuff, receive all this stuff, and you got these little children that are saying, it's okay, Santa, if you have to take a present from me to give to somebody else.
Now, is this involved with an association of some kind?
I did the Festival of Trees at the Blue Ocean in Salisbury, and then I just finished up Thursday and Friday. And if you've never been, it's an experience. Get to the Hamlin Castle in Gloucester. A lot of history, beautiful venue. I do a lot of weddings there also. But it was an experience. It was a fun time.
What is it? What is Hammond Castle?
Hammond Castle was built by John Hammond. Inside there, he was the first guy to deal with remote control, guided missiles.
Wow.
He has patent, very, very intelligent man. I'll give you, there's a lot of history with this castle. He built it block by block, and there's a lot of memorabilia inside. Hammond built his own mausoleum for his burial. Unique, we just talked about spirituality. There were 77 steps to the mausoleum. He died at 77 years old.
Wow. Do you think there'll ever be a Duffney Castle in Gloucester?
Not this week.
No. All right. Maybe next year.
Nah.
Well, I know you really do get into living the gimmick, so to speak. How many did you have this year, now that you were actually able to engage with the kids?
Thursday night was basically a night that the Hammond Castle gives back to the community, and that was for a lot of underprivileged children.
Oh.
They came in for free. They each left with a gift. There were cookies, milk, free candy, and you got to take your picture.
And you, from what I believe, you had a Santa's little helper.
Not at the Hammond Castle.
Oh, not at that one. Okay.
I had one of their folks help.
Oh.
Moniz was my helper at the Festival of Trees in Salisbury. When I did that one, I'll tell you that was nonstop. That was 5 to 8, and I started at 5, never got a break that night.
Wow.
I went right through till almost 8:15, 8:20.
When we did the whole Disney thing last week, at Magic Kingdom one night, you talk about getting soaked, price-wise. They had Mickey's very Merry Christmas after hours party that went from like 9 until 1 in the morning. The Santa Claus, they did socially distanced Santa Claus. I have one with Mickey in one of them. They did socially distanced Mickey with a mask on. It was, I don't know.
Well, at the Hammond Castle,
Disney's a little different than Universal, I guess, right now.
Yeah, Disney's very cautious. I call it the Tragic Kingdom. I wouldn't go back. I took my 2 sons when they were younger. I went back.
I don't think anything's changed. I think that's part of the problem.
Well, they've made some new rides, and the castles are new.
It's new?
They've got some new stuff there, yep.
What's new?
Well, the castle, as you go to the 7 Dwarf rides, there's another.
I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, well, Snow White's castle.
I don't. Oh, I know the big castle in the middle.
Not Cinderella's castle.
There's 2 castles.
Yeah.
There is.
Yeah, they made some
In
changes
Magic
in the rides.
Kingdom?
Oh yeah, Tragic Kingdom. Get it straight.
Well, now they have something called the Magic Genie. I don't know if you've heard about that.
Oh yeah, that's you get it on your phone and it gets you right through the.
Well, no, you get to book the time, and that helped. But I had an exceptional time.
God bless Universal.
And you know what? You know, someone that had never been. Guess what they of all the Universal Islands of Adventure, Magic Kingdom, and Epcot. Guess what the favorite was?
Universal. All the time, hands down.
Disney is really losing ground. I tell you this, as much as I enjoyed the Magic Kingdom visit, it feels like it's the exact same park I went to for the first time in 1988 when I was in the 3rd grade, you know?
Well, if you want to do the Star Wars gimmick, to see where they get the Millennium Falcon, you can do that, stay there for 2 nights. You want to pay $3,500 for that?
Oh, well, not me.
Why not?
But we did Epcot Center, which I hadn't been to since 1988. And that was, we didn't even get a chance to do too many rides because it kind of closed early. And you get a better experience at Universal.
Voodoo Donuts, the Chocolate
Factory. You like the Voodoo Donuts?
Oh, I like those. And I like the Chocolate Emporium over there. Oh, I'm a big fan.
Oh, yeah. You mean that place that's to the left of Hard Rock Cafe?
Yep.
We went in there too, yeah. I've never been in
milkshakes
before.
are outstanding.
Yeah.
The people in there are great to talk with. I have a T-shirt that
really?
they wanted to steal the slogan off of. It's for Shane's of Maine, and I don't know if it's copywritten or not, but it says, "Without ice cream, there would be darkness and chaos." And right away, the girl that plays the woman who's looking for her parents, that's the story behind that chocolate factory, is, "Oh, we've got to have that. Get that, quick, get a picture. Got to put that on a shirt right away." I'm going, "Oh, okay, you can."
Well, I have to say I felt a little bit like a celebrity, Johnny, when I went to the Hard Rock Cafe for dinner the first night there. The hostess named Mama, she was a big fan of yours. Big fan of yours.
It's a drug-free workplace. It's a drug-free workplace. I have no idea what he's talking about.
She said every time John Cena Sr. comes in, she feels all warm and fuzzy like it's Christmas morning.
Well, I was there. I took Moniz for
Well,
lunch.
that's exactly.
And they still gave me a check.
Well, Mama.
She didn't feel that warm and fuzzy.
Mama was a little starstruck, I think.
Oh, I don't think so.
Mama was a little starstruck.
I think it's a drug-free workplace.
But no, you know what? When is Mardi Gras? That's March, right?
Yes, but I'm a little leery of going down to Universal for that. I do want to go.
Why?
But that's spring break.
Yeah, but they run it almost like Christmas. They run it for about 6 weeks.
No,
It's not
I
one
thought it was
weekend.
only 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
No.
I might try to go down and take my
Yeah,
granddaughter.
just go when it is in spring break. You just got to kind of
I'll see if I can book it now.
navigate the seas. You know what I
I
mean?
won't stay at the same hotel you stay at because,
I'll tell you this, for the very first time, for those people that have no interest in amusement parks are probably like, I thought this was a wrestling show, but
It is. Let's get on the ball
Because of
here.
my battles with Linda, for the very first time, I was able to stay across the street at the one that's called, the Universal Hotel that's called Dockside. And it had 2 pools as opposed to 1. The only problem is they're not very deep. We're talking in dead center about 3.5 feet.
That's all
you
you
know,
need?
I got to do a lot of ducking.
Okay,
I gotta
now back to the wrestling.
I got to
Here
do
we
a
go.
lot of work to get wet.
wow.
But no, one of them was nice. It was a beach. It had sand, and so it was pretty cool. You know, you know where it's located. It's about a 2-minute ride. They have the bus.
We have
that
the
goes
Portofino
until
that has the beach.
You go on the boat.
Fabo
Vino on the Portofino.
You got to stay at the Royal Pacific.
Now, where's the Fabo Vino that we were talking about last time?
Oh, I forgot to bring it for you. And I had Fabo whiskey for you.
Oh, boy, we might have been in a little bit of trouble.
Spiced bourbon.
Oh, I can't wait to try that. But you know what? We're in the holiday spirit.
Well,
it's Christmas Eve. We hope wherever you folks may be, we're adding a little holiday enjoyment. You know, as I've noted before, Johnny, it means a lot when the folks say, you know, they might be alone on the holiday or even on a weekend, but they look forward to having our show at 11 o'clock after SmackDown and AEW Rampage. So you know what? You're part of our family here in Boston Wrestling Sports, especially tonight, even though this is non-alcoholic, Red Bull. Salute. Salute to you, even though you're a pain in the ass. You're one of my favorite pains in the asses.
I just came here and did the show, and now
you're one of my favorite pains in the asses.
You know what? I just want to tell you, I read the comments after the show. You know who gets all the whoops? You get all the whacks. Does he ever start a show without complaining? Is there something he's going to say where he's not dumping on the people that work for him? Be positive.
What am I complaining about?
You're talking about
the Magic Kingdom. Yeah.
See?
I shot on the Magic Kingdom.
Anyway, where are we going with this?
I think we're going to go back to Orlando. But anyway, as far as this episode goes, it's kind of sad, Johnny. A couple losses in the world of professional wrestling. Someone that you probably saw a heck of a lot more of in the squared circle than I ever did. But certainly someone that contributed so much backstage, which is where I met him, the Blackjack Lanza, the WWE Hall of Famer.
Saw a lot of that man. The Lariat. That man was huge. Over. What a villain. What a villain. Another sad loss to the wrestling community. Hall of Famer.
Great tandem teaming with Blackjack Mulligan.
Right.
Great pairing when Bobby Heenan was his manager.
Yep.
That really, I think, enhanced his persona from what little I've seen on video of him over the years. And much like your son with Arn Anderson, Blackjack Lanza was the guy that Austin always went to for his big matches. That's who he wanted as his agent to help put together that magic. So for those fans of the Stone Cold Steve Austin era, while maybe you don't know the name Blackjack Lanza all that well, he really helped bring some memories to your television screen.
He sure did. He was great.
And what I found amazing was, and you know how crazy this industry is, with indiscretions that can take place, he was married to the same lady, I believe, for 64 years. Isn't that something? 64 years.
Well, we just did at Mass. I do a lot at the Carmelite Chapel in Peabody, and 2 weeks ago we celebrated Mass, and they were in the chapel, a couple who had been married 67 years.
67? Wow. How old were they? They must have been at least pushing 90.
I don't know. They were great. They were there. Father Gilson called them up. It was a great night. It was a great time. But it says something for the older generation versus the newer generation. You know, the newer generation kind of says, okay, I'll give marriage a try, and if I don't like it, it's easy enough to get out of. And that's why the average marriage lasts 7 years, 3 to 7 years. Sad.
You know what it is, Johnny? I don't think people, not to get into the world of marriage now on top of
let's move on to
top
wrestling.
of our amusement park discussions, but I don't think people try hard enough anymore. I don't think people put the effort in. I think they're ready to quit too easily.
Never give up, never quit.
It's almost like one of your son's T-shirts.
Oh. I have to give a shout out to my friend Candy out there in Illinois. We met this couple, she and her husband, at Halloween Horror Nights, and she promised she would send me a surprise. This woman is a sergeant at a secure facility for hardened criminals.
Really?
And I just received it yesterday. It's a handmade quilt,
Wow.
WWE, John Cena. You can't see me. I'll bring a picture next time.
Wow.
This thing is unbelievable. Thank you so much. Merry Christmas to you and yours.
Well, you think you'll ever see Marjo Ouellette wrapped in that quilt?
I don't even know who she is.
Maurice's mom.
Oh, who?
Maurice.
Maurice? Oh, you mean the Mrs. Wife?
Yeah.
Please.
She's been looking for you. She's
Who?
mentioned you on the
Marjo?
reality show. Yeah.
Marjo?
Marjo. She's a great outdoors, probably wouldn't be happy about it.
All I know is every time I speak to her, she said, and let me ask you a question. What about that Dan Maradi? Is he married? Single?
She's a little old for me, Johnny.
He said, I will give you a try, but you know he feels I'm a little old for him. Well,
I'm looking for the fountain of youth. Marjo is...
she give you...
Marjo needs more than a bath in the fountain of youth, but that's a different story for a different
my
time.
God.
But let
See?
me ask you this.
Go
Did you
ahead.
get any holiday-flavored ice cream delivered to your house this year?
No holiday ice cream. None.
And before we go
And
to
no
the,
cakes.
Before we go to the commercial break, I also wanted to note that Jimmy Rave of TNA, Ring of Honor fame, also passed away.
Yes.
That one bothered me a lot. He was a young guy, 39 years old.
39 years old. That's awful.
Lost both of his legs.
Yep. To what? Why?
I can only, I have thoughts because I actually communicated with him maybe over the summer. He reached out to us about trying to do something, and I just didn't really know what was there, and we were so busy trying to get ready for the anniversary show and the talk shows, we kind of lost touch. And I really feel bad. I don't know what we possibly could have done to prevent what happened in the end, but maybe we could have done something, and I feel shitty, to be honest.
I think he did an outreach, too, for people involved with drugs and alcohol, because he had an addiction.
Bad problem.
And that caused the amputation of legs, and I even think an arm.
I didn't even know about the arm. But he really went into detail with me about what happened with
God
his legs.
rest
and
his
it was
soul,
very,
because
very, a wise person said to me, Dan, you can't help everyone and everything, but, I wish we could, I don't know, I'll say this, I used the Cauliflower Alley Club, and I said, this is a great resource, you should reach out to them. They exist because to give back to the boys. Rich Inling, who was the former director, funny enough, the former director of security for Disney World, he's on the board of directors now. And over the past 2 years, as a club, the CAC, we've given out almost, I think, $100K.
I get a great suggestion.
What's that?
Let's get a New England chapter of the Cauliflower Alley Club.
I have thought about, what I think would be great? Imagine before it's all said and done up on that magical place that we love on Route 1 North in Saugus, if we did a reunion like that, different than what we did back a few years ago where we did the big Q&A, what if we did a nice dinner, an autograph signing, and we did not a Hall of Fame, but just recognition, a Hall of Legends, so to speak. I think nostalgia is what people like right now. I mean, look at the event we had in November. Look at the event we have in April. People love the legends right now. They're not hot to trot on what's on TV right now.
There's nothing to watch on TV right now.
Well, there is, but
no,
it's
there
if you
isn't.
choose.
You know, I mean, Raw's rating went down, SmackDown's rating went down, AEW screwed up. I mean, let's be real. I would rather see a chapter of the Cauliflower Alley Club in New York, make it a consistent thing, regardless of what's happening at the Kowloon on Route 1. I still think
there's other places we could go to.
It's going to be a while. Well, you know, I'm going to tell you something. We were talking about life after death, et cetera, before we started the program, and the spirit of the Kowloon will always be there. And I will say this, I don't know anything more than anybody else. I believe there'll be a physical Kowloon there always. Not as big with 1,600, 1,500 seats. I believe that somebody, I don't know who it's going to be, is going to create a Kowloon, and it's going to be 300 seats, small comedy club, outside dining. It can't not be there. It cannot be there.
It's an institution.
It's a name that everybody knows and respects.
We were there with the Berzerker this past week. Had a great time. Andy was in good
Get
spirits.
his picture?
So, I'm sorry?
Did you get a picture with him?
You know, it's funny, and I don't think, well, I know the Berzerkers enjoyed these shows, but because of, you know, Andy was just kind of coming through, I don't think he realized who it was.
He's a great guy. Berzerker's a great guy.
Berzerker's going to be back the weekend, folks, of January 22nd. We're going to be doing some live episodes. I know you're usually not around on the weekends, but he's hot to trot to meet you. And he's
an honor.
You know, right now we're waiting to start season 2 of Wrestling Insider's Party with Marty. We've started our new series, Wrestling Insider's Throwback Thursdays with the Berzerker, and the feedback, Johnny, it has been phenomenal. I don't know how you've missed it, but I'm telling you.
I'm going to look at
you
those.
have got
to go to YouTube.
I am. You know, I'll only push things upon you if I truly believe you should go out of your way to see it. This is one you've got to go and watch.
Wow.
Phil will attest to it, who's here with us right now.
First of all, it would be an honor to meet Berzerker in person. I saw a lot of his matches. Great performer, great human being, truly. And
he's had some hard times, but you know what? I really feel, and I hope I don't regret saying this.
Don't say it then. Don't say it.
All right, I won't. But what I will say is that right now, as we continue to celebrate Christmas Eve, we'll be back after this brief timeout. Stand by. Continue to have a Merry Christmas. We're using the C word, baby.
Fans, we warned you this day would come. Unfortunately, we're running out of original episodes of Wrestling Insider's Party with Marty each and every Thursday night at 10 p.m., but we're starting up that Indiegogo. You can help the cause. You can help Marty's show continue each and every week. Nobody does it like Marty. We had an incredible time with him at our 20th anniversary bash, November 13th at Memorial Hall here in Melrose. We want to have the good times keep on rolling, but we can't do it without you. Look for the Indiegogo link in the comment section below or across our website and social media platforms. We have some great perks, great rewards where you can even meet Marty himself. There's nothing like it. Since July of 2020, every week we've brought you the show. We need your help to keep on going. We tell you, without wrestling fans, there is no professional wrestling, and there's no better time to help the cause now. Let's keep Marty rocking each and every Thursday night. Wrestling fans looking for the perfect holiday gift? Discount VIP packages and tickets to Boston Wrestling's Soul Survivor 10 Back to the 80s, Saturday night, April the 16th at Memorial Hall in Melrose, Massachusetts are on sale now. Join WWE Hall of Famer Jake the Snake Roberts, 3-time WWE Tag Team Champions Axe and Smash Demolition, The Wild Berzerker, and more 1980s legends to be announced. Take part in a VIP exclusive Q&A session. Meet the wrestling icons up close and personal in an autograph and photo fan fest. Then get ready as the superstars and legends of yesterday, today, and tomorrow take part in a night of white-hot in-ring action. Discount VIP packages and tickets are on sale now for a limited time at bostonwrestling.com. Join us for a professional wrestling reunion decades in the making, April the 16th.
It hits different live with WWE Super Show. Don't miss an epic main event.
Drew McIntyre and Kofi Kingston, King Woods, The New Day, Roman Reigns, and the Usos in a 6-man tag team match.
Will the new arrivals on the blue brand disrupt the dominance of the bloodline? It's WWE Super Show in Boston, Sunday, January 9. Tickets and Superstar Experience packages on sale now.
Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, I'm Dan Marty.
And I'm Mr. USA WWE Hall of Famer Tony Atlas.
The road to WrestleMania has begun. Wrestling fans are looking to add to their man caves. You got to see what we have in the eBay store.
Check it out.
Support Wrestling Insiders and keep wrestling legends working on eBay. At Survivor Series, it was champion versus champion as WWE champion Drew McIntyre battled Universal champion Roman Reigns with Paul Heyman. Get this 11x14 poster autographed by all three men. Limited edition, number 42 of only 50, with authentication hologram on the back of the poster itself. Comes with a mystery autographed 8x10 photo and an on-air shout-out from WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas on Wrestling Insiders at your house. Get it now.
All right, wrestling fans, welcome back to this Christmas Eve edition of Wrestling Insiders Fabulous Fridays. I'm Dan Marty, along with a man that is the personification of fabulous. A man that made Mama down at Hard Rock Cafe in Orlando, Florida, feel all warm and fuzzy. A man that made Eartha Kitt feel all warm and fuzzy. Ooh. A man that makes my Joe feel, well, even more than warm and fuzzy.
All I know is I want to meet this guy.
She said even a little moist.
What about the wrestler?
Well, Johnny, you want to talk about sad for WWE fans. What a loss of talent over the past couple of weeks since we were last together. Jeff Hardy, bye-bye.
Well,
on
what?
On chance number 86.
I like the Hardys.
I think the world of Jeff Hardy.
I've worked with his brother. I've done several shows with him. He had an issue for a while. He straightened his life out. I think Jeff really needs the help that's been offered but refused. And so he's made a decision. His decision is no. WWE had no other choice but to do what they did. Sometimes you have to look in the mirror and admit to yourself there's a problem. And he's such a great performer. What a loss to this business. And my concern for Hardy becomes now, who else wants to book a man or a woman who is going to continue with the addiction and put other performers in jeopardy inside that ring, or him or herself? It just doesn't make sense.
Well, again, he's been given a lot of chances that a lot of people wouldn't have received.
110 chances, I'd say.
Good, but I'll say this again: an exceptionally good human being.
No question about
him
it.
An awful lot. He's helped us in the
Jeff
past.
and Matt are outstanding.
But I'm gonna throw this one at you, Johnny, here on Christmas Eve. I flash back to August of 2006, Titan Towers. Vince McMahon meets with Kurt Angle and his agent. I'm going to commit suicide if you won't let me out of my contract. I don't want anything to do with the wrestling business anymore. Instead of the typical, they give you the 90-day no-compete, they cut him one check, $250,000 on the spot, severed ties. Less than a month later, he shows up on Impact. Matt Hardy claims he's as clean as a whistle and that the test WWE gave him for drugs is going to come back 100% clean.
Jeff Hardy or Matt Hardy?
Matt Hardy said that Jeff's
For his brother, of his brother.
Yeah, he spoke on Jeff's behalf.
I read that.
Jeff has booked concerts and meet and greets on his own until his no-compete clause comes up. Do you think Johnny, maybe at Jeff's age, he's a couple of years older than me, about John's age, getting a little longer in the tooth. His body has been through extreme abuse, the style he's worked.
Both those boys.
There's big money to be made for certain people in AEW with a much lighter schedule where they usually run just one event a week. Do you think maybe Jeff tried to work WWE into thinking that he had an issue that couldn't be resolved? And when they attempted to resolve it and he said no, they had no other choice but to let him go with his track record of all the DUIs and, the issues that have been documented. But imagine if he is clean and he just, what if I wandered into the crowd and made them think I'm high or made them think I'm drunk?
So
just to get out of the contract and go to AEW to make big money for a lighter schedule.
So what you're basically saying is Jeff Hardy pulled to work.
It's a theory I have. It's a theory.
I got to tell you something. Knowing Jeff Hardy, knowing Matt, his brother, they're both very reputable individuals. I do not believe that either one of the Hardy Boys would stoop that low to get out of a contract.
Well, you like Kurt Angle, and he did it.
Well, Kurt Angle's a good friend. Kurt Angle's a great human being and a great guy. There's a guy that had some issues, physical issues as well as drug addiction. Yeah, mental issues. You know what? It's the business that does it. So whatever Angle said at that time may have been what he meant at that time.
No, he knew exactly what he was doing.
Well, there you go.
Come on.
Well,
you're smarter than that.
You know what?
You're a very smart man.
I'd like to think so, but I'm not always that smart. My thought is, you know, at that time in history, Vince is a very smart man also. So you cannot tell me that Vince McMahon wouldn't have sat there and said, I'm not doing it.
What do you mean?
Commit suicide? He's going to commit suicide if he doesn't get out of his contract. Really? And his agent's right there endorsing it? Look, you know what? That's a work. It may have been a work.
I have no doubt. He had big money on the table for TNA for a much lighter schedule. He was bullshit that they put him on the ECW brand where they would run in house shows in front of 750 people. You know, he wasn't making, you know how the structure goes. They're paid on a percentage. He was making his downside guarantee, but he wasn't making more like he would have if he was on the Raw brand or the SmackDown brand.
Right.
So that was his way out of purgatory, so to speak. Him and Big Show were the two guys they put on that ECW brand to try and give it some credibility, along with all of the quote-unquote ECW originals. But again, if Jeff Hardy really is clean, number one, why did he decide to leave the match and wander through the crowd? Or two, was he trying to create a chaotic situation where WWE is a publicly traded company, his past issues are well documented, but what if, and I'm not saying any of this is true, it's just a theory, but Tony Khan said, imagine if we could get Jeff mad. What if we came up with this scenario? Or maybe Jeff said, you know what, I can go and make the same money for a quarter of the work schedule at 44 years old.
You know what, first of all,
let's hear it, brother.
I think that's disrespect for Tony Khan. I don't think Khan would stoop that low, personally.
You know what?
I mean, I'm being upfront with you.
I'm going to agree with you.
you.
Maybe I worded it wrong.
Yeah, you did. You made him sound like a sleaze bag, and he's not. So
no, he's not. And I'll state that he's not.
And he doesn't have to play games to buy talent. My question to you is, why did WWE send Hardy home after the match? Why? The doctor must have checked him. Something must have happened. You know, Triple H, Paul Levesque, Vince McMahon, Shane McMahon, Stephanie McMahon doesn't say, hey, okay, Marty, beat it, go home. That just doesn't happen. There had to be some validation to what happened. Now, whatever that validation is, nobody really knows. I don't think the whole story is out yet.
Well, let's just say this drug test comes back clean. What happened?
Okay, then I think we have more questions. To which somebody has got to supply answers.
Well, I guess we're going to have to take that one into 2022.
And the other thing I think you got to think about too is the schedule he was on, and he was still drawing, but I don't think he drew. I don't think he drew the way he used to draw. You know what I'm trying to say?
Well, I mean, they haven't really given him much of a push. When was the last time he did anything of any substance?
A lot of people have put in the back seat of the car.
Right.
A lot of people have put in the back seat of the car, and they're making a lot of mistakes because they've dismissed a lot of talent. And what happened with Johnny Grungo down there? Was I right or was I wrong?
Well, I think they missed the boat when he was on SmackDown. I think they could have really had a pretty good pay-per-view program with him and Reigns, even if it was just for one show. I think it would have had interest, my opinion.
I made a prediction. I'm telling you now, I feel, I don't care what anybody says, Reigns is a great guy. Remember, I wasn't always for him, but I think right now it's just too much. He's had it too long. The Usos help him out all the time. I think the fans are tired of it. Roman's either going to drop it or drop it and walk. I don't think Reigns is long for the WWE.
Well, he is part of the main event for WrestleMania 38 in
Well, that's fine. That's
Dallas.
a big payday. But his contract will come up for negotiation, and we'll see what happens there.
Well, and you know what? He said in a recent interview, he's got Hollywood ambition. But for the money he's making?
He's got the contact to put him in there.
The money he's making right now, would you walk? Rock never, well, no, Rock did make more than that during his peak years. during the Attitude Era, but not a downside guarantee for that kind of money.
But the thing you got to think about is, in the movies, I may get beat up, but I'm not getting bashed up.
Right.
How much can a body take? And think about this. God bless.
He's only 36 years old. Come on.
Wait a minute. God bless Roman Reigns. He went through the leukemia thing. He came out of that.
Fair.
So what happens if we have a reboot? Please God, it doesn't happen.
Absolutely.
But the thing to think about now, and I think that's maybe what is on his mind, what about my family? Where can I go from here? 36 is not a bad age to think about. When you say, well, they're up there a little long in the tooth. Because what are they, 36, 38?
I wouldn't say. No, Jeff is old. If they're older than me, I say they're a little long in the tooth.
90 is, nobody's going to wrestle at 90.
But let me ask you this, since it came up, Johnny, and it was on the list. What did you think of the tribal chief turning on the wise man on SmackDown?
No, that would be Paul Heyman?
Yeah.
Ooh. Did I tell you that was going to happen?
Well, and then Brock, he came to the man's rescue quickly. So I tell you this, last time we were on the show, we were shitting on WWE Day 1, January 1st, and now they've put together an intriguing match that I'm looking forward to seeing live.
Good for you. I'm not.
You don't want to see how the Reigns dynamic plays out?
Been there, done that, seen it. End of story.
Well, it's got certainly a fresh coat of paint.
Yeah, but you know what? When you look below the coat of paint, you can always see it's the same old shingle. No thanks, not interested.
Do you think, would it be interesting to see a swerve where Heyman turns on Lesnar to show his loyalty to the tribal?
Now, there's a scenario that may interest people. It could have been a work all the way along between Reigns and the Wan of Wisdom. That would be very interesting.
And again, I like to play Booker sometimes because I love the creative. Yeah.
Booker?
Booker.
Oh!
No, the hookers are over in England. The hookers are over in England. But let's say this now. Day 1, Lesnar is ready to win the title. We see a big swerve. Heyman turns on Lesnar to show his loyalty to the Samoans. Reigns retains. They do a gimmick on SmackDown where Lesnar only has limited dates. You had your title shot, but that's that. Heyman, Lesnar goes nuts, whatever. Royal Rumble, he comes back and he wins it. Then you set up the WrestleMania main event where a really angry, pissed off Brock Lesnar not only wants the title, not only wants to kill all the Samoans, but he wants to kill Heyman too. Maybe one stipulation that hasn't been done in forever that I used to love was the babyface wins and he gets 5 minutes alone with the manager in the ring. I think he'd kill Paul Heyman.
I've been in that situation when I'm a heel.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
a good gimmick.
It works. It works.
I don't think that's a bad storyline. If they went with it.
Maybe we throw Paul Heyman in as special guest referee. That might be a start.
Now that would be interesting too. Where is the loyalty of Paul Heyman? Is it with the tribal chief? If he turns on Lesnar at the pay-per-view, I think it'd be kind of obvious. But there's many different roads they could take. Thank you, Jackie.
Jackie Chan's here?
No, Jackie the Joke Man. He gave us the signal.
Oh, all right. He gave you the signal?
Yeah.
That number 1?
Yeah, this one.
Oh! Wow, this is supposed to be a family show.
It's Christmas Eve.
Oh, and
we're having fun.
I know Santa's gonna leave you, Cole.
Santa brought me a very interesting gift about a month ago.
Linda Morati's leaving you a time bomb.
Santa Claus gift came very early this year.
What would you get, Dan?
It's a different story for a different time.
Oh, okay, all right.
Christmas came early, and I am eternally grateful.
Really?
I'm very appreciative of the world right now.
Really?
Yeah.
There you go.
See, it can happen.
He does say positive things
anybody.
once in a while.
I'm appreciative of you, even though I joke with you, and we've had battles on screen and off screen, and at arenas and in locker rooms and on the phone and via text and via email.
Yep.
But
I've saved
in the
all
end,
those. Yep.
After 16 years, here we are still together, buddy. So there's, if not a deep friendship and admiration, at least a deep level of respect.
Well, Christmas is the time to forgive and forget. Spread the love, spread the word, enjoy the family, enjoy each other.
I'll never forgive North Carolina, though. The inside job.
Well, I said it before. I'll say it again one more time. Read my lips. There was no inside side job.
That's not what you said in the ring with Paul Bear.
I didn't say it.
It's very unfortunate that your friend came down with the COVID down in North Carolina. It's even more unfortunate that he survived, but...
you see, here he goes again. It's Christmas Eve. It's Christmas Eve. All right? On the 12th day of Christmas, Dan Marati gave to you...
I can't forgive him for what he did with Linda and so on. But, you know, we're not going to go there, because right now we're going to go to a brief timeout. We got a lot going on in the world of Boston wrestling. We are gearing up for Season 2 of Wrestling Insider's Party with Marty Jannetty. We got the Indiegogo rocking and rolling with great rewards and prizes to bring Marty back to the studio. We have our new series every Thursday night, Throwback Thursdays with the Berzerker. It's out of control. If you haven't seen it yet, you're going to love it. If you love WWF wrestling from the 90s, and even some of the Berzerker John Nord stories from the 80s. And of course, all roads lead to Memorial Hall in Melrose, Mass. Saturday night, April the 16th. Boston Wrestling Sports presents to you Soul Survivor 10, back to the 80s. We're going to see Jake the Snake Roberts, Axe and Smash Demolition, the Berzerker himself, and so many more all-time greats from the 80s. You're going to relive your childhood. We're going to be having a wrestling party with an autograph photo fan fest, VIP exclusive Q&A, and then the superstars and legends of yesterday, today, and tomorrow light up the squared circle. Even this one was sitting there doing attitude adjustments at the last one. You never know what you're going to expect. Discount VIP packages and tickets are available now. Probably, I think, through New Year's Day, according to David Reese. So head on over to BostonWrestling.com. We'll see you on the flip side. Stand by.
Wrestling fans looking for the perfect holiday gift? Discount VIP packages and tickets to Boston Wrestling Soul Survivor 10, back to the 80s, Saturday night, April the 16th at Memorial Hall in Melrose, Massachusetts are on sale now. Join WWE Hall of Famer Jake the Snake Roberts, three-time WWE Tag Team Champions Axe and Smash Demolition, the Wild Berzerker, and more 1980s legends to be announced. Take part in a VIP exclusive Q&A session. Meet the wrestling icons up close and personal in an autograph and photo fan fest. Then get ready as the superstars and legends of yesterday, today, and tomorrow take part in a night of white-hot in-ring action. Discount VIP packages and tickets are on sale now for a limited time at bostonwrestling.com. Join us for a professional wrestling reunion, decades in the making, April the 16th. Wrestling fans, we warned you this day would come. Unfortunately, we're running out of original episodes of Wrestling Insider's Party with Marty each and every Thursday night at 10 p.m., but we're starting up that Indiegogo. You can help the cause. You can help Marty's show continue each and every week. Nobody does it like Marty. We had an incredible time with him at our 20th anniversary bash, November 13th at Memorial Hall here in Melrose. We want to have the good times keep on rolling, but we can't do it without you. Look for the Indiegogo link in the comment section below or across our website and social media platforms. We have some great perks, great rewards where you can even meet Marty himself. There's nothing like it. Since July of 2020, every week we've brought you the show. We need your help to keep on going. We tell you, without wrestling fans, there is no professional wrestling, and there's no better time to help the cause now. Let's keep Marty rocking each and every Thursday night.
Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, I'm Dan Marati.
And I'm Mr. USA WWE Hall of Famer Tony Atlas.
The road to Wrestlemania has begun. Wrestling fans are looking to add to their man caves. You got to see what we have in the eBay store.
Check it out.
Arguably the greatest professional wrestler of all time. Get this limited edition collector's autograph print personally signed by two-time WWE Hall of Famer Nature Boy Ric Flair, inscribed 16 times for each of his recognized World Championship reigns. One of only 50 made direct from our friends at WWE. Also signed by original artist Rob Schamberger. Help keep wrestling legends working. Get this awesome Ric Flair collectible for your wrestling collection now.
Wrestling fans, welcome back to Wrestling Insiders. We're having fun. We hope you, your friends, your family, you're having a great Christmas Eve. You're going to have a great Christmas Day, a great Christmas time. You know what I think the worst thing about Christmas is, Johnny? It ends.
No, it doesn't.
Well, to me it does.
No.
The music, the lights,
let me
spirit. Tell me.
One of my favorite DVDs, and I play it every year. Now I play it for my grandkids, is Sesame Street Christmas Eve. And there's one song in there that really sticks with me. Keep Christmas with you all through the year. And the meaning behind that song is so apropos. We don't just let it go for one day. Christmas is 365 days of the year. You know, it is. Because Christmas time, people are happy. People are giving. People are willing to receive and give, to help those less fortunate, to be friends to those that have none, to reach out to those that have no food. We do that 365 days a year. Christmas never stops. All you've done is taken trees and funny little decorations, a man in a red suit, and saying, look at all these big presents and look at all these things you're going to get. You know what? First of all, Christmas to me isn't a bunch of boxes. It isn't a big tree with huge lights. You know, the Little Drummer Boy, if you ever saw that little animated series, gave the biggest gift of all, yet it was the smallest. What he gave from his heart. He said, I'm nothing but a humble drummer boy, but can I play my drum for you? Yeah, the smallest gift overrode the gifts of frankincense, myrrh, and gold. And if we could keep that in our hearts, as Big Bird says, all through the year, keep the cheer, the love, the generosity that we have now. Why wait for one special day to do it? You know, it's there.
I agree with that, but I guess maybe my point is I'm not a very materialistic person. I'm not a gift guy. I like to give. I usually don't get anything anyway. But
Well, that's because of your attitude.
Yeah. But I just mean, you know, from about right around Thanksgiving through Christmas itself, everybody's a little bit nicer. Everybody's a little bit lighter. Everybody's a little... It's just the world seems like a better place for about a month. I like the music, I like the lights, and then it's just, boom, it ends.
No, it doesn't, boom, it ends. It's we allow it to end. You know,
well, maybe we shouldn't allow
If you look
Christmas
at the Christmas Eve special, Christmas Eve on Sesame Street, one of the things is Bert and Ernie, one has a paper clip collection, and one has a rubber ducky. Now, what the one wants for his rubber ducky is a soap dish. What Ernie does with the paper collection, he goes and gives up his paper clip collection to get the soap dish for his friend. And what his friend does is, because he has no box to store his paper clips in, he gives up the rubber ducky. And come Christmas Eve, when they open their presents, they go, hey, Bert, here. Oh, a rubber ducky dish. Oh, a box for paper clips. But neither has one to utilize it until Mr. Hooper comes in, who is celebrating Hanukkah, another great day, a lot, very meaningful.
Several days.
8 days. 8 days.
All right.
The Festival of Lights. And Mr. Hooper says, Merry Christmas. And he gives them back because Mr. Hooper, is the one that took the trade for the box to store the clips and the soap dish. Merry Christmas. Here's your rubber ducky, and here's your paper clips. You know what? Sacrifice, love, doesn't happen one day a year. Happens every day of the year. That's why we're in the position we're in now as a country.
Well, do you think when she was younger, do you think that Annie offered cookies or something else for Santa?
I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't even know. You know, one of the comments in this, I read them is, why don't you leave Annie alone? Back off.
I never did anything to Annie. Believe me, I was never involved with Annie.
You make her out to be a horrible person.
I have never, ever said that. I think she's a very nice human being. Buon Natale. Buon Natale. She just has, it was like Liam Neeson in Taken. She has a very special set of skills. But anyway, someone that is not hurting this Christmas is Kevin Owens. Did you hear about the massive package that he received from Santa McMahon? That blew my mind, considering bye-bye Braun Strowman, bye-bye Fiend, but we got $2 or $3 million a year for him? Oh!
Wow. No wonder he didn't leave.
Oh!
He was going to leave. I thought sure as hell.
Would you have given him anywhere near that amount?
Not $2 million, no.
Would you have given him 7 figures?
I'd probably given him $1 million.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't see it.
Well,
if he left, do you think anyone would care?
Not really. But I think the thing that's really a point of sensitivity right now is I think there's some serious concern because for the first time in the history of WWF, WWE, outside of the Saturday Night Wars,
Monday night.
It
was a day.
Well, it's a couple of days. They're facing competition.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want any more of quote unquote, because you have no superstars. You know, I mean, I think Kevin Owens is a wonderful human being. I met his son. We sat together. Great guy. But at the same time, $1 million, you let a guy like The Fiend go? You let a guy like Braun Strowman? Who was doing what? I don't understand. But, hey, Kevin, congratulations.
Good for
Great
Kevin.
negotiations.
Good for Kevin, yeah.
You're where you got to be. And the good thing is, if you let out of your contract, they owe you some money. Hooray.
Then they could always cut him, as we saw.
If they do, they still owe money. So, you know what?
90 days, yeah.
Well, I'll take 90 days at $2 million.
If you're going to overpay for someone, why not overpay for someone that was drawing for you? I mean, I know there's a lot that is supposedly could be said about the whole Bray Wyatt situation, but I mean, at least he was the #1 merchandise seller in the company. If Kevin Owens vanished, I don't think anyone would really care all that much. Fans, I ask you, would it ruin your experience watching Monday Night Raw if Kevin Owens wasn't on anymore? I don't see it.
Well, I ask you, fans, would it ruin your experience? Dan Marati wasn't sitting in that chair harassing me and you.
Well, we got Charlie and Phil ready to take my place.
Type them right in there for me, would you please? Kevin Owens is a hard worker. I think
I'm not saying he's not, but he looks like a garbage wrestler.
Well, but think about what happened. They bring him in, Cena gives him the rub, he really goes up the ladder, and all of a sudden it's like every other superstar they have. What are we going to do with this guy? Well, where are we going to put him? You know, why did you let the giant Strowman go? Why did you let the Fiend go?
Overpay them.
Ugh. Man, oh man.
At least there's something special about them. To me, Kevin Owens is very technically sound. You know, he's a good wrestler. It's not like he's bad. But $2 or $3 million a year? Are you shitting me? Come on.
I wouldn't go $3 million. I'll be really honest with you. I wouldn't. Do
I'd maybe 500,000.
I don't think so. I think.
You really think he's worth more than that?
Well, you know what? Think about this. Who do we have left? And this kid, when he worked, produced. He produced. So I mean, I'd give him $1 million. And the rest is residuals.
You think it's good that he stayed?
I think it's bad that he stayed.
You wanted him gone?
No, for his own good. Because I'm going to tell you, I don't think it's going to work out the way they think they are.
Well, I tell you, another match that we knocked on day one that they mixed up a little bit. I'm interested to see your thoughts. What was going to be a lifeless triple threat match between Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, and the new champion Big E. They've now turned into a four-way with Bobby Lashley, which hopefully Bobby will reclaim the championship in Atlanta on New Year's Day to kick off 2022. Do you like the addition of Lashley? Do you think Lashley's going to go over and end this horrible Big E experiment as a main event guy that has gone the road to nowhere? Seth Rollins with his boring King of Drip gimmick, and now Kevin Owens has turned for about the 85th time since he's come up to the main roster. He's a heel now. I had zero interest in the match. Now that Bobby's involved, I have a little interest in the match. What are your thoughts?
I have a feeling that Rollins is going to walk out the champion.
Oh.
Which I don't want, obviously. I think that's... No, that'd be bad. I do say that they've done a disservice to Big E.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, they put him in a position...
No win?
Where do you go with this guy? I mean, they should have left well enough alone and worked slowly. Unfortunately, he's where he is. I think Big E is in for a surprise. It's either going to be Lashley or Rollins that walks out with the title.
Well, we're running out of time.
I hope it's Lashley.
All right. Well, we're running out of time, folks. We went long talking about amusement parks and the other crazy adventures we go on. Maybe we should save those topics for the end.
I like that.
Because there are fans that enjoy our banter as well. As Charlie is trying to almost take over the chat over there. Very loud chat, Johnny. They're getting a little loud over there.
We're picking it up on the mics, that's all.
Well, maybe they're bored with us.
Oh, well, then you know what? See the way you came in? Can always go out.
Johnny Gargano, Kyle O'Reilly, both free agents. Where do you think they wind up? I love Kyle O'Reilly. I just can't see them doing anything with him other than turn him into a jobber on Raw or SmackDown.
That's what's going to happen.
And Gargano, he's fantastic, technically sound. I don't see them doing anything with him of any relevance on Raw or SmackDown.
I think he should get out and go somewhere else.
You think both of them should leave?
Yep.
You know, imagine if they ever took 205 Live and took all the guys that were legit 205 and under and made a promotion out of that. It could be the most exciting company in wrestling right now. It could be AEW.
I was just going to say, AEW is starting that.
Yeah.
So
isn't it something?
That's why I say Khan's a smart businessman. And,
well,
we'll see what happens.
You know what? Like I said, there were a lot of things about AEW I liked. There were a lot of things about AEW I disliked. But since last summer, they've, obviously they've had some major free agent additions, but they keep those shows feeling fresh and interesting, which I cannot say about any of the WWE shows anymore. I hate to say it because we have friends that have worked for us in NXT. I can't stomach it anymore. We're going off on a tangent, but half of the show is women, which is just, it's too much. And I tell you this, if you ever saw the War Games match that those women had, you would have been feeling the same way I felt. And I know that you are very sensitive towards women's wrestling. You're very appreciative of women's wrestling. But man, that War Games match they had was an embarrassment to all the hard-working women. It was one of the phoniest, most staged, choreographed-looking things I've ever seen on a national promotion.
I guess I'd have to see it before I comment on it.
Well, you got Peacock.
I'm not impressed with that either.
All right. Well. All right, wrestling fans, right now we're going to take a brief time out. We'll be back to wrap up the show. Stand by.
Wrestling fans looking for the perfect holiday gift? Discount VIP packages and tickets to Boston Wrestling's Soul Survivor 10 Back to the 80s, Saturday night, April the 16th at Memorial Hall in Melrose, Massachusetts are on sale now. Join WWE Hall of Famer Jake the Snake Roberts, three-time WWE Tag Team Champions Axe and Smash Demolition, The Wild Berzerker, and more 1980s legends to be announced. Take part in a VIP exclusive Q&A session. Meet the wrestling icons up close and personal in an autograph and photo fan fest. Then get ready as the superstars and legends of yesterday, today, and tomorrow take part in a night of white-hot in-ring action. Discount VIP packages and tickets are on sale now for a limited time at bostonwrestling.com. Join us for a professional wrestling reunion decades in the making, April the 16th. Fans, we warned you this day would come. Unfortunately, we're running out of original episodes of Wrestling Insider's Party with Marty each and every Thursday night at 10 p.m., but we're starting up that Indiegogo. You can help the cause. You can help Marty's show continue each and every week. Nobody does it like Marty. We had an incredible time with him at our 20th anniversary bash, November 13th at Memorial Hall here in Melrose. We want to have the good times keep on rolling, but we can't do it without you. Look for the Indiegogo link in the comment section below or across our website and social media platforms. We have some great perks, great rewards where you can even meet Marty himself. There's nothing like it. Since July of 2020, every week we've brought you the show. We need your help to keep on going. We tell you, without wrestling fans, there is no professional wrestling, and there's no better time to help the cause now. Let's keep Marty rocking each and every Thursday night.
Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, I'm Dan Marty.
And I'm John Cena Sr.
Johnny, the momentum here in Boston Wrestling continues as we continue to build and build and build. The fans want to know, how do we help? We subscribe to the Patreon, but we see all the great merchandise on that set. Coronavirus may have killed the nightlife, especially for someone like Marty, but our acclaimed eBay store is open 24/7 around the world.
Wow. Check it out.
The Undisputed Era kicked ass and took no prisoners in WWE NXT. Now you can own this limited edition collector's autographed art print personally signed by Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, Kyle O'Reilly, and Bobby Fish. Also signed by the original artist, Rob Schamberger, one of only 50 made direct from our friends at WWE. Help keep wrestling legends working. Get this awesome collectible for your collection now.
All right, wrestling fans, welcome back. Quickly, we're running out of time. Again, we wanted to wish you a very Merry Christmas. We're using the C word all weekend. For our fans on Patreon, we have an exclusive Christmas Day video with the Berzerker, John Nord. We do a watch-along when he challenged Bret Hitman Hart for the WWF World Heavyweight Championship. If you're looking for a great holiday gift and you haven't got it done yet, if you're waiting until the last minute, head on over to BostonWrestling.com now. Again, all roads lead to Newbury, West Newbury, to get a little Fabo Vino. Then after the Fabo Vino, you head back to Memorial Hall, downtown Melrose, Massachusetts, as Boston Wrestling brings to you Soul Survivor 10, back to the 80s. You're going to see Jake the Snake Roberts, Axe and Smash Demolition, the greatest tag team in WWF history. You're going to see the Berzerker and so many more 80s legends we're talking to, some of whom we already booked but haven't announced yet. Discount VIP packages and tickets are on sale now at BostonWrestling.com. Get the best seats in the house and save a few bucks. I think the discount will probably be up through New Year's Day. We didn't even talk about David Reese signing with AEW, but, you know, he's a very busy president now.
We spoke about that.
On the air?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, well.
We did. You see, I think, you know what? You're a little getting a little long in the tooth, too, I think. But to my friends, I just want to say, you're yelling Merry Christmas. Right after Christmas is Kwanzaa. Happy Kwanzaa.
If you celebrate Kwanzaa, happy Kwanzaa. Johnny and I are going to be back for a marathon next Friday to greet you for New Year's Eve. A lot of popular shows do that nowadays, so we're going to be marathon people. If you and I raced, who do you think would win?
Neither.
Neither of us.
Nah.
Well, we wouldn't be the odds-on favorite in a potato sack race, I guess.
I would.
Really?
I probably win.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how slow I go. That's good.
Maybe Great Outdoors would be there with a little ice cream.
Moniz?
If you won.
Moniz?
No,
Moniz
I
left?
would not confuse Moniz with Great Outdoors.
Wow.
Great Outdoors was a little odd showing up with the ice cream, but that's all right. It's Christmas time. She's loved by someone, I'm sure. Maybe the owners are friendlies. I don't know.
Whoa!
All right, wrestling fans, before we continue to go into the world of nonsense much more, again, Merry Christmas. We'll see you before the new year. Until we speak again, folks, you and yours, be well, be healthy. And I'm watching you. Don't drink and drive. I'll never forget what happened to me. I don't want it to happen to anyone else. Make wise decisions. We'll see you next week. Good night.
No matter how wild and crazy things get here in Boston wrestling, you can always count on John Cena Sr. to be that calming presence, that voice of reason. Don't forget that John Cena Sr. is back with brand new episodes every Friday night at 11 p.m. after SmackDown and AEW Rampage. Always interesting insight, again, from the former Raw main eventer, also a man that many don't know promoted spot shows for the WWF back in the 70s before he was a dad. Well, folks, it is that time of week again. We remind you to get your discount VIP packages and tickets to our Soul Survivor 10 Back to the 80s event ASAP, so we can get you an autographed Christmas card signed by WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas and Marty Jannetty at BostonWrestling.com. We are going to load up on this one and give you an event you are never going to forget if you're a fan of 80s WWF. Again, if you're looking for a great gift to give the wrestling fan on your list late, check out the Boston Wrestling eBay store. Quincy Rastani will personally mail it to you. The link can be found in the description box below or by simply hitting the store button on BostonWrestling.com. Again, we're also trying to get Marty Jannetty back into the studio ASAP for a new season of Wrestling Insider's Party with Marty. You can directly help the cause by supporting our prize-filled Indiegogo campaign. Again, the link can be found in the description box below and across our social media platforms. Former ECW World Champion Justin Credible is going to be back in studio in January. The Berzerker is going to be back with us the weekend of January 22nd. It keeps getting bigger and bigger, and don't forget, we're back with Sunday Night Live tomorrow night at 7 p.m. for a WCW Starrcade 1998 watch-along. Again, always a lot of fun. Another busy week is, even though I'm still working away nonstop every day, I've actually been out of the studio, as I noted, for 9 days since Black Friday. What, oh what, could be causing me to do so? Stay tuned. I have to say, while I'm not a big gift guy, I like to give gifts. I don't necessarily need a lot of things in my life. I'm a very simple, basic guy. But I'll tell you this, I was given a custom pair of shoes to try and get me out of my Nike slides I've had to wear since 2008 because of CRPS, along with what looks like a very thin jacket. In reality is an REI winter coat that is unbelievably warm. So many, 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 many thanks go out to New York City. It's unfortunately that time again, fans. As much as I hate to go, I am mentally and physically exhausted from all of the traveling I've been doing and the work I've been doing here in the studio. I think on Wednesday, my last day of travel, from the time I woke up, headed to the airport, flew out, did what I had to do, flew home, got home, went to bed. It was about a 22-and-a-half-hour day on Wednesday, and then had to be up early Thursday to be back here in studio. Dear Lord, trying to end 2021 with a bang. Your Super Chat donations go a long, long way in keeping these programs produced, along with sharing the link across social media. I hope you guys had a lot of fun tonight, reliving memories with the legends. We'll be back with more great content all week long. Again, pause, take a moment, breathe, relax, enjoy the holidays and the people around you. You never know when they might be gone. It's kind of a sad way to end the show, isn't it? But you really never know. I know I said somewhat the exact same thing last week, but I really mean it. Don't wait until New Year's Day to start a resolution. Start it now. There's no law that says it has to be a New Year's resolution. Don't waste a day of the life that we're given to live, is the way I try and look at it. That's a deep Dan Marati as opposed to the pro wrestling version of it. But folks, until we speak again, I will be back next week for another Wrestling Insiders Week in Review. Until we speak again, you and yours, be healthy, be safe. Merry Christmas from Boston. Thank you for joining us. Please give the video a big thumbs up, leave us a comment, and subscribe to the channel to enjoy more great content. Don't forget, you can help keep wrestling legends working. Check out our eBay store and join the Boston Wrestling family at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling so we can produce more in-depth shoot interviews.